of extraordinary gentlemen.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Allow me to introduce you to man's planation. We got Mr. Life, Amari. Can't forget about the bad Gemini. We in the building. Let's figure it out. Let's talk about what's been going round, what's been going down. Let's figure it out. Let's talk about what's been going round, what's been going down. Since a kid, I was lost in this man's world, thinking life is about money and beautiful girls. Raised off in the struggle, blessed to have my mother, blessed to have my father, but nobody really loves you. Started being up on the scene before I hit my teens. Think I started smoking weed before I turned 13. And I had a billion dreams just like Dr. King. But my dreams were never what my dreams seemed. From juvenile detention, when they wanted to lynch me, to the chain gang slaving me, I'm locked in prison. That's how support be crazy. Be careful making babies. You gon' have to pay a price to love them and raise them.
Well, sir, thank you. Next caller on the line. Next.
Mr. Life, man, help me out, man. I have problems with my old lady, man. Cross town, I got a girlfriend and all. I'm trying to figure it out, man. Get this thing together, man. Help me out.
My name is Jesse, and I'm from South Florida. And I've been trying to figure out why the sun rises and sets the way it do.
I'm from Buford, man, and I love y'all show, man. I appreciate you guys, man.
Let's figure it out. Let's figure it out.
Preaching the word of man.
What's been going round?
Don't forget the ties by leaving your comments and your shares. Mansplanation.
Let's talk about
figuring this out.
Let's figure it out.
Let's figure it out. Figuring it out. We discuss the laws, history, religion, finances, the government, politics, everything.
Let's figure it out. Let's figure it out.
All right. Can you all hear me out there? Can you all hear me? Because I can't hear myself right now. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
we rocking
all right.
with you.
All right.
Yes, sir. We can hear you, Pastor.
I am getting some double plays, so BG, take over. Let me kick myself off, and I'll come right back.
Oh, goodness. He don't left me a supervisor. So here we are. Welcome.
Not the bad Gemini supervisor.
Look, and he took away the music. That's the thing when he get kicked out. He took away all my ampness. He gonna say, he took away the paint. I don't have anything to decorate with and all. Like, goodness, we got BGS on him. I'm glad I got winded. I'm gonna be sophisticated. I ain't gonna
sophisticated.
Right now. Hey, look, we on the red tonight. I'm bad and bougie.
You was lit last night.
Bougie.
Last time you was lit, so it came in with the bad Gemini last time.
Oh, with the shades and all that. But you know what?
Yeah.
You sophisticated, and I just wanted to provide balance. But you know what? I've matured since the last episode. So I'm going to be mature along with y'all. I know y'all going to get in some heavy-hitting conversations. Yeah, welcome, everybody, as y'all come in. We see you. Representing, hey, Ken, what's good? The regulars, VVS, for sure. We had it jamming. You know, of course, Toya the Texan, Toya the Tudor, Toya the Toya. She got all the different names. She must be hiding from somebody. What's up, Tall E? You know what I'm saying? Good to have you. The sound system, the intro, yeah, we pumping. So we got a special guest, BGS. He almost like fam yet, but you know how some people say they fam, but then they don't claim you like that. So I'm gonna act like we fam, whether he claim us or not. You know, he just claims somebody like that's my cousin. Like, is he really? Because we ain't seen you in no pictures with him. Well, he my cousin today. I don't give a damn what y'all say. And then we got Amari. So I'm just start off by saying, how you been since the last show, Amari?
Sober-ish.
Ish.
Sober-ish.
So we only on one substance tonight, and that's gonna be alcohol. So it'll be a lot more cohesive than last time.
Thank you so much for being a little bit more cohesive. Last week you was on it, my friend.
He got chastised.
Oh man, I can't with y'all, man.
I went back and watched some of that.
I've been good, man. A lot of drama this week, man. A whole lot of drama.
Dang,
Past week or two. Oh man, you know what this whole thing about the passport bros, man.
Now, they might not know, so can you explain what's going on real quick?
Okay. This is the thing, and this is the debate that's been going on, right? We know that men travel for all different kinds of reasons, right?
Yeah.
And one of the main reasons men travel, just don't get it twisted, is for different women, okay? And sometimes it's sex tourism, which is tricking, right? They call it international tricking, for lack of a better term, right? And for some reason, black American men are the only group of men that actually get shamed for it. Okay, white men, Asian men, Latino men, even African men can put it all over their social media, talk about what they did, sometimes even how much they paid, right? Nobody says a word, but all of a sudden when 8 of those black men travel, doesn't even have to be tricking or have to put it on their page. They assume that they're traveling all over the world, taking advantage of these poor, destitute women, okay? And that's what's been going on over the past week or so. And all I was saying is, why are you making this exception for the small group of men that actually go over and travel when you don't do it for everybody else? Even women go over and write books of how they go chase after men all over abroad.
That wasn't the premise of Waiting to Exhale?
Yeah, it was, amongst others. Yeah,
but it's two things, right? It's two things, right? When you're talking about from the man's perspective, I could definitely see the game coaches getting upset with that because you should be able to get it off the lip for the first thing, right? So I see it coming from that perspective, and now you're having black men that's already been labeled and castigated as dating out, and now they're going foreign, now they're going overseas, which is extracting more available men with financial means from the dating pool of available black women.
Exactly.
So I could see that. I see both of those coins coming down on the black men that dating out.
Right.
But this has been something that's going on for like the last 20, 30 years, right?
No. You got to remember, you go back to the Moors, right? The Moors are going to Europe getting foreign, white wives. Okay, this has been going for thousands of years. This is not new. Traveling for different women or traveling for whatever, right? And you're getting the women that are in your sphere, and women too, or taking in foreign men. It's nothing new. But it's all of a sudden it's like you're doing something that's outside the vein. All of a sudden you guys are such horrible. Either you're a horrible person or you're so weak that you can't get it here. And I said in either case, I said it's say for instance a guy cannot get it here, right? You don't rock with the women in the United States. They're too powerful or whatever it is, right there. You need to go find some place for you to be happy. If you can go to Colombia, D.E.A.L, Brazil, or wherever you're going to go, Mombasa, Kenya, to actually find women who will actually accept you, I see no problem with that. I don't have problem.
They do it in the military.
They do it.
That's what I was saying. The military was where it was all happening at.
Well, the military. Yeah, well, that's been the military since Rome. You get, you have to get the women that are in the environment. So what I think is I don't get it. Why all of a sudden this big brouhaha about a small group of men traveling and showing their dates. Okay, they're doing the same thing in Colombia or the DR or Brazil that they would do here in the United States. Okay, they don't talk about a guy spending $5,000 to fly a black chick in for the weekend. They don't say nothing about that. That's acceptable. I don't get it. So that's what I've been saying. I think black men should have the same choice that everybody else has.
I definitely go back to those 2 points because once again, you're taking away it's that scarcity mindset when I see it, right? Nobody really wants to compete. So if you got men actually talking about going overseas and finding women and bringing them back or going over there staying and actually dating these women and keeping these women and marrying, hey, the dating coaches kind of lose their stronghold inside the YouTuber sphere at that point in time. Yeah. And then you talk about the ladies that's actually the pick-me's or whomever that it might be who really trying to get a grasp on a man at the same time, and now you have this going on. Now it's another battle and another fight that they have to fight at the same time in order to get a definitely available man to actually court them or be with them. So I kind of see it from that perspective. But I'm with you. I remember back in the 90s, fellas was going to Brazil, especially in Florida. They always been going to the D.E.A.L. That's not common here. That was going on back in like 98, where guys was going up there spending like $20.
Yeah. Some ridiculous sum. Yeah.
Yeah. And you go to Cuba, and when they open up, and if you're from South Florida, you could get to Cuba, and Cuba, sex exchange was on a zero cost basis. And it was actually a guy that did a whole series about that, where you can literally go to Cuba, meet a woman, and just because you was an American and had the potential to take her off, she would let you have it for free. Matter of fact, Cuba passed certain laws in the city to where if you was walking down the street, you had to have your marriage papers on you at that point in time. Okay. If not, they would check you and make sure that that lady or the cops would stop you. So they would, that was their version of frisking
stop and frisk.
Yeah, that was their version of it, because it was just that bad to where women would do anything for a chance of getting out of Cuba. They
don't say anything about, and this is something that's inside the pro-black or Pan-Africanist community, right? Black women offering green cards, exchanging green cards for husbands from Africa. I want a decent husband of a quality that I probably couldn't get in the United States. So I'm actually offering you a chance to get a green card if you come over here and marry me. And they've been doing that forever, but nobody talks about that. The green card exchange.
BG, how you feel about that?
Hey, look, the thing about it is money gives you access to that. Look, you can ask me anything. Like, I'm married to somebody who came on a green card, but if you ask me how I feel about it, I think you're asking me.
You put that bad twin back in the closet where he belongs, man. The good twin was out, and you bring the bad twin out.
Like, what's the underlying tone he coming? I was like, dang, what are he talking about? I did not do a mail order bride, but I will say, if you're talking about people who coming from across the waters, because I mean, my girl, she's an American citizen, but if you're talking about her mama being from Guyana, originally coming to America, then
that's what I mean. I wasn't talking about you going to get one, but you dating out. That was the other part of what I was saying. So tell your girl don't cut me, because I know she like to cut. So I don't want to get beat up.
Look at him. You know what? You can rock with those stereotypes. No, he get to throw them out, because don't forget, she ain't black, so she ain't slashing tires, according to what they say. So remember, they do theirs different. They poison you slowly for 30 years, across the waters. You're like, dang, well, you wake up, you don't know what happened. Your whole inside gone. You wake up with one kidney and one lung that they sold to their uncle. You know what I'm saying?
So we ain't gonna talk about Southern women do to you, man, to get even. So we're gonna leave that alone.
Yeah,
we're not gonna talk about
hot grits.
Man, we ain't gonna talk about that, man. The boiling water, the hot grits, the oil, potash. Yes.
And let's not talk about taking your underwear. Have y'all heard the one where they take your underwear and they bury them under the back door?
Is that
I've heard
that
of
sounds
it.
like something that happens in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Is it a chicken foot involved?
Florida too. And not to eat the red sauce, right?
Yeah. You know what? Every Louisiana woman that's from Southern Louisiana told me about the red sauce. And the spaghetti. No spaghetti, no red sauce.
Yeah. My mentor would not eat his wife red sauce, and they was married for like 20 years. Every time she cooked spaghetti, he would literally go out and get something to eat and come back and say, I ain't going to eat that shit. Right in front of my face.
Look at me.
Why does she keep cooking it?
I mean, she's from Louisiana, like you said.
And it's spaghetti. She's feeding the kids, so.
There was no kids. It was just him and me.
Oh, she trying to
I looked at him,
slipping.
and I was right there with him like, all right, we're going to not eat.
You have to be there, Mari. You got to be there.
All right,
we can
fellas.
explain it, but you got to be there.
You do. All right, fellas, let's get to it. Let's kick it to Amari for first. Start with the fragrance, Amari,
Yes.
and make it quick because we got to get through this show tonight. And then we'll drink to the drink segment, and then the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. And let's get through this because we got a great show planned for everyone.
All right, cool. So my fragrance of the day is, so this one is a lot of compliments on this one, right? So let me just say this real quick. I buy colognes because they smell good, but I'm also a narcissist, so I buy colognes based on the number of compliments that I get. So
Good
if I only
choice.
get 1 or 2 compliments off of a $300 cologne, it ain't worth shit to me, right? Because that's not the investment that I want. Oh,
Sir,
but
can
yeah.
you remove your name because it's covering your mouth? I apologize.
Okay, I got you. Hold on. Let me do that right now.
Or zoom out a little bit.
Let's just do this.
Okay.
Let them be bougie, y'all. Let them get together a little second to get bougie for
There we
y'all. It's
go.
coming.
There we go.
Here we go.
There you go.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you very much for that. So what I'm saying is basically like you can buy a whole bunch of colognes for $300+, but if you don't get, you making this review real fucking hard. I don't know how much editing you have to do after this, but it's not gonna be cohesive.
Let's
right?
start from the top because he cut half
You
your
want me-
segment out.
Yeah.
All right, let's start from the top. All right, we start from top. So, based on what I didn't just say, what kind of cologne that I like to buy, are the kind that I get compliments off of, right? And so this cologne is called Haltane. It's a new fragrance from Perfumes de Marley's. If I can get a zoom in real quick. There we go. So this is from a fragrance line right here. And right now this cologne retails, I think, for about $3.95, but you can get it for fragrance line for like $60 for the 10 milliliter size, right? So you're gonna get notes of sage, bergamot. You're gonna get some oud in there too, but it's gonna sound contrary, but it's a prominent, understated smell. So it's sweet.
Sage is kind of earthy, huh?
Yeah. So you're gonna get what I mean by prominent is that you're gonna be able to smell it on yourself 4 or 5 hours after you spray it.
Oh, okay.
But it's not overpowering. It's not loud. When I walked in to get my manicure and pedicure, I think 3 different women asked me what I was wearing. One of them went online to the fragrance line website and went and bought a bottle for her son at that time because she wanted him to smell like this.
Ooh,
That's how good this is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Scan just a little bit. No, that's too far.
we
There you go. Right there.
Yeah.
Haltane. Okay.
Yeah, Haltane. Yeah. So this is in the same kind of fragrance as Out for Greatness, right? So they're very similar. So you're gonna get that same kind of like full body, but not overpowering. I would say the only difference is Out for Greatness has a little bit more spice to it. So it's a little bit more spice. So this is a little bit more understated. But I would definitely recommend to keep this in your collection. I'm actually gonna go buy a bottle myself, right? It's just that good. And so if we want to give it a credit score, I definitely give this like an 810, 815. So it's definitely an 800 credit score. Like this shit is just good. This is also one of the colognes that I will spray before I go to sleep and when I wake up so I can have sweet dreams. All right, it's in that same family, that same category. No
Well, it's
lie.
sage, though. That's it. Sage. We'll do that.
Yeah. It's got a little bit of sage in it. Yeah. It's clary sage. Clary sage.
Okay.
So it's not like a prominent sage, but it's again understated. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so once again, fragranceline.com to go get the smell good. This is for the men inside the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Right, well, our friend Amari likes to spend a lot of money on cologne. He go out and buy bottles $500, $600.
Right.
Yeah, when you're in the league, you can't afford that sometimes. So you go to fragranceline.com, you can get a 0.10 bottle for about $40-$50 that costs him $500, wear it for about 2 months, figure out if you like it or not, and if you like it and you get the compliments, just go ahead and buy the real bottle. Save up. Take $25 out your paycheck every time you get paid, right, fellas? This is how you do this. And when you have enough money set aside, you go buy what you want. You don't have to go spend $500 if you're only making $40,000 a year. Just take $25 because guess what? You spend lunch or two lunches is $25. So just take $25 out when you get paid and save up for what you want to do. That's how I do stuff. I earmark. I make pretty well, but I still earmark most of the things that I buy. If I want some Yeezys, guess what? They $220. See, I know about hard. Guess what? I already have my money earmarked, set aside. So when the ones come out that I want, I go ahead and drop it, and then I start saving all over again. If a pair comes up that I want, that I'm still short $220, guess what? I don't buy it.
Yeah. So let me say this for the guys in the league too. Let's say that you don't have the A kind of game, right? Like BGS, where you can spit the game. You don't have the Chesterses like BG, you're not 6'5", brown eyes like Pastor Life, right? And your game is a little weak. This is a good crutch for you to lean on. I ain't gonna even lie to you, right? Like, because it gives you a conversation starter. When she smells you and you smell like an 8-10 credit score, that's a way in, right?
Yeah.
So as you're working on your game, as you're working on your skills, use this as a crutch, right? Because you can smell more than you're worth, right? Maybe you want to fuck your way upward. This is the way to do that. So
you got to remember that. And me and Kevin Samuel, a long time ago, we started to do a series called the Metaphysics of Scent, right? Because because scents release certain hormones in people, right? Certain hormones and chemicals in people, and it actually bypasses the conscious mind. So the thing is, that's why smells, scents, colors, and all that kind of stuff are tools, right? And as Minister was saying, okay, say you don't have the voice or the conversation or the body or the height or something like that. Okay, the thing is that what a fragrance will do, because it bypasses the conscious, goes directly to the subconscious, right? It'll give that woman or the person an impression of you automatically, right? That they probably wouldn't have had. It actually color or influence the way they think about you. Okay, no matter what's in front of them. Okay, this kind of stuff bypasses the conscious and goes directly to the subconscious, to the animal brain, and so it'll start chemicals and reactions in that person that without them knowing about it. So they'll look at you more favorably. So that's why Minister Amari is talking about that. He said, if you don't have game, like I said, this is one of the tools that you can use to actually give yourself an added advantage. Pimps do it all the time, right? That's how come they wear certain. I'm serious. That's why they wear certain colors, certain clothes, certain scents, because they've mastered the game of bypassing the conscious, going to the subconscious, right? And actually started coloring, for lack of a better term, a person's thought pattern. Okay, it happens all the time. Minister Amari can probably tell you a certain scent will actually color a whole room about how they feel and think about you. It's a tool. But the thing is, you gotta, I always tell guys that, that actually wear the colognes. Okay, if you wear it, take notes about the reaction you get. Like this the minister says, he takes notes about his reaction to the cologne, and in certain settings about how So say, okay, in a more bougie crowd, okay, this scent will work better. In a more say ghetto crowd, this scent will work better. In other words, you match the tool to the environment. Amen. Even on a professional level, right? I'm sure a pastor could tell you the way you smell, the way you look, the colors, depending on the audience in front of you, it'll actually hit different.
It does. How you dress will carry you. How you dress and smell. We had a big company-wide meeting. That's why I'm still dressed up right here today. And all my bosses came in their suits, and I stepped in with what I had on, and all the women gravitated towards me. Yeah. Multiple things, because I understand color. You can put on a blue suit with a white shirt, but once again, that's fairly nice. But in that setting, if it all depends on what you're trying to draw and what you're trying to attract, it's going to attract certain things. We work inside an industry that's 99% women. Yeah. So why would I wear a white shirt all the time at that point in time? Right. They like to see a little pop. So you do a white shirt with some stripes in it. You do pinstripes. That's how I only own one true white shirt. Everything else is a pinstripe. And if you can learn how to actually navigate the ties as well, because you can't see the ties. Pinstripes and paisley, women automatically jump on it because it sets off of air. And if you go get your suits tailored, that sets off of air. You don't have to spend any real big money on a nice suit. Go get a cheap suit, then go to a tailor. That's going to be $60. And if you're in Los Angeles, it might be $80. But once again, get it well tailored. Don't have it drooping all over your shoes. It's supposed to touch the tip of your shoes, and then you want a pistol point coming down. And if you're real fashion forward, like my boy Amari, you're going to get up like 2 inches high, like right above the ankles. That ain't me. That's going to be him, but not me. I like a more corporate look. I like to dabble right between the lines of what women like, which is that reform thug look. They want a thug that looks good. Look. Yeah, let's be honest. That's
they want they want a little animal in a guy. A little bit of animal.
Yeah. And you can dress your way into that, right? You can dress in that. You don't wear gator shoes, then you get low level women, right? So you don't wear gators or anything like that. You don't throw on no green gators.
Let me ask you BGS. Do you wear Stacey Adams?
No.
Okay, just had to ask.
No,
He
they're
wanted to
not-
make
not-
sure you weren't a pimp.
No, they're not. No, they're not good for my feet. No, but you know what? I was in the continent, man. They had the nicest, crocodile shoes, man. You polish them up, paint them black. Ooh,
That's it. They gotta be black.
Huh?
They gotta be black. Any
Gotta be
gator
black.
shoe outside black, they're gonna
you're gonna
think you're a pimp.
you think you're a pimp, yeah. But if they're black and a little understated, yeah.
All right. So now time for the drinks. We'll start off with the Bishop BGS. What you drinking on tonight, sir?
Oh, my standard tequila, man.
Tequila.
Yeah.
Is there anything special that you sipping on tonight? Because we drinking around here. This is a drinking church.
I can't keep up with y'all, man. Y'all are experts, so I had to bow to the powers greater than me. Okay, especially
All
Bad
right.
Gemini. Okay,
Bad Gemini.
I'm
Since he
relaxed.
kicked it to you,
Look,
sir, what you drinking?
I'm gonna go. You hush your face. Look, I'm trying to behave this episode. I hate when I want to be all bougie and sophisticated because I know that's what y'all doing. You got Amari talking about $500 colognes and you and your pinstripes and all this. Yes, je ne sais quoi, vini la femme. All that stuff. So I can't.
Did you
I'm in
just
a
speak
tank
Creole?
top today. I'm here for the
think he tried.
streets. I'm here for the streets. I actually went French on that one because that's the only couple
Je ne
of
sais
French
quoi?
terms I know. But I know hey, Creole. Right now I'm pouring me a fresh.
that's certain something, huh?
That's all it is. Like mon ami. But look, I'm pouring me a glass of the red. But you know
Okay.
what? So what I'm sipping on, but before I get to talk about what I'm sipping on, I gotta address something. You heard this cologne he got? Y'all can't be around here putting on $200 colognes and you ain't taking a bath. I got a problem with that. So that should go unsaid, but it had to be said because people try to get away with it. You can't be like, I'm hot.
Try
and
to
I'm
get
gonna
away with it.
mask it. And they gonna mask it with $200.
You don't want a minister get into taking a bath and how you layer your scents with your soaps and other kind of stuff, man. That's probably take a whole show.
That
Yeah,
was-
you got
Well,
competing
yeah.
Because
stinks.
I don't have lotion. I have body creams. It's the difference.
See, now we
See,
got
you-
to tap it.
See, we're gonna get into the real deep about taking a bath or a shower, what kind of soaps or creams you do, and your oils you put on, and that's gonna match the kind of cologne that you did. Y'all gotta work
Exactly.
together.
So to interrupt the drink segment real quick, I went to a function that the mayor was throwing about sometime last year. Of course, I went in with a suit,
Blame
tie,
me, Pastor.
yeah, all that shit, and got in there, and men and women were complimenting me. One woman came up, smelled me, and then smelled my hair, and was just like, yeah.
You know what you're doing. And if you
Yeah.
figure you're on another level when they smell your hair.
He well
Okay.
groomed.
Yeah.
No.
Just came from
in
Pet
other
City,
words,
little Chihuahua.
no, he was what she wanted to know. Said if he smells that good, that means he's next level. So that's why she smelled his hair. Does all this stuff coordinate?
Yeah, because I was like, you asked him to smell, and it's the way she did it was real sly though. But I was like, okay, so now we smelling my hair. Thank God I took it to BG's point. Thank God I took a shower.
All right. So, Minister Amari, let us know what you're drinking, sir.
Yes, sir. So I am drinking. This is something brand new, never had it before, but it came highly recommended. As a matter of fact, when I was on one of my alcohol runs, a woman got the last bottle when I went last time. So this is a rum from Santa Teresa, 1796.
Okay.
It's a bit of spice, sweet. It's won a bunch of awards. I forget what awards, but it's won a bunch of them. It's my first time trying it.
Is it local or where is it made?
I don't think it's made here. I don't think it's local. I think but it's not expensive. It's only like $40.
Okay.
Which is it's cheap, which is what got me off guard. But literally, this woman was trying to find every bottle she could. And it's good. So far, it's my first time trying it. It's smooth, it's nice, it's sweet. I'll let you know by the end of the show if I think it's award worthy. I haven't gotten award worthy on the first few sips. But it's
Well,
good.
this is a rum, and they used to add a lot of sugar. Yeah, yes, sir. You just went sideways, so I thought you was done. I wasn't sure.
No, I'm done. I'm back. I'm gonna finish
Okay.
it. My bad.
All right.
I tried to be bougie with y'all. It lasted all of 10 minutes. I was back ratchet. Oh, another thing too. We back. I can't get it right. You know what? You talking about them high cut pants. Another thing, if you're gonna wear those pants that Minister Amari wears, please lotion your ankles. See, I shouldn't have to say this stuff. I already talked about the bad.
Here we go.
These guys be having on these suits, think that, and then it's not even like it's the ball of your ankle. You know how you think you get the rest and you rub it real quick, but you don't get the ball of your ankle. Like, anyway, I ain't gonna get into it. That one little ashy dot looked like a bullseye. But anyway, so back to what we drinking. So for the drink segment, what I'm drinking is Cabernet Sauvignon. That's right. I pronounced it correctly. It's Lion's
Okay.
Ridge. This is
Okay.
a reasonable price bottle, anywhere from $20 to $25. I like Reds. It has a punch. It's about 13.8%. It's delicious. Of course, Reds have more sulfates than the whites, but this will go down quite smoothly. You know, when you have Red, have a nice piece of steak, or have a upscale Wagyu burger, something delicious.
Ooh.
Me and Pastor and part of
Okay.
the crew went and had those great. Well, I didn't eat it because I don't eat the beef, but they had it was delicious. So once again, it's Lion's Ridge Cabernet Sauvignon, you know, nice red, delicious. You know, and I'll probably smash half the bottle because the good stuff I don't have to drink like Thunderbird back in my day, and all these other crazy little things. You know, the Manischewitz and all this stuff the winos get drunk on,
daddy
and the
loves
2020 Mad Dog. Y'all know the names of them.
Are
The
those
same things
wines
that
you're
the
talking about?
drink on
Yeah,
there. Yes,
bottom
they're
shelf,
wine.
dusty. They hide that with other wine. You have to move other wine out the way to go find that Manischewitz. It's so low to the ground. It's literally under the shelf.
Mad Dog,
Mad
Thunderbird,
Dog.
Why would you name a wine
Cisco.
Mad Dog?
Cisco. Yes, you knows all of that. Yes.
All right.
Hey,
all right.
we in Florida. Go ahead, Pastor. I'm
All
sorry.
right, my turn. So, all right. So, we're going to go with Pete Monster tonight. Pete Monster is for when you want to actually go out with your boss or go out with a high-end client and you really want to have a conversation with them about closing the deal or getting that raise. You go to the bar and you order one of these for that client or your boss. It's the Scotch, so it's going to be heavy on the peat. And what the peat means, well, it's going to be heavy on the smoky peat. What the peat means is peat is this moss that they have over in Scotland where they smoke the grains, and it gives it that heavy smoky flavor. So if you don't like Scotch, that's why. But this one is not that heavy on the peat, but it's definitely heavy on the smoke. So Pastor's going to be drinking on this when we take communion later tonight. But for right now, I'm sipping on some gin because I'm not trying to get too slizzard doing this show. And I found out drinking Scotch and bourbon would get you there a little bit too quick. So now I drink gin during this show and take communion with the bourbons and the scotches. So now let's get to the thick of everything. BGS, we're going to kick it to you for the... Oh, I wasn't ready.
Welcome to the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, where we give a shout out to the men in a certain profession that's blue collar, white collar, that makes less than $80,000. It doesn't have to be a job. It could be a good father or a stepfather or anything. We'll kick it to BGS to start us out first. So give us a 30-second rundown of yours, and we'll go around to Minister Amari, BG, and you finish up with me. We'll jump into the show.
Oh, okay. There's one person that's a running buddy of mine. He's in North Carolina, and he's actually helps runs a bread warehouse. He makes about $50,000 a year. He's a supervisor. He's been a stepfather, and he's a great guy. He's a geek. Does comic books. He builds stuff. So he's one of those guys that's more like a Renaissance guy. He's got a whole bunch of different interests. He's far more of a person than his salary actually commands. So so we have a lot of blue collar guys like that, man, that their profession doesn't define them. And I like those kind of guys. So it doesn't matter. So he hangs with guys that make $300,000 a year or $1 million a year. The thing is, your interest define the kind of man that you are, not your salary.
All right. Minister Amari, sir, who you got for us tonight?
Yeah, so I want to give a shout out to some of the people that keep America running like clockwork. They work long hours. So basically Amazon delivery drivers, right? Like if you can get me my shit within under 24 hours or 48 hours or less, and you got to keep, first of all, I'm not keeping a piss cup in my car when I drive somewhere, and they do. So I got to give a shout out to that, because you're willing to do that just so I get my shit within 24 to 48 hours. I appreciate you. So yeah, hats off to the Amazon delivery. Do you know what it's like to order some shit that costs $20 and get it in 2 hours? I do. So yeah, Amazon delivery drivers, thank you for that service. I appreciate it.
BG.
Shout out to the masseuses. It's a hard job they got to do, because even though they get paid for it, we know some of the things they got to rub. Everything you rub ain't smooth. and everything you rub ain't from the land of milk and honey, but they go and get paid. They set the ambiance, they get the hot oil, they play the music, even though they just grimacing the whole time. But the person is face down with a hot towel and they can't see the face they making while they rubbing that body. That might not be everybody, but a lot of people got average bodies. So I thank them because sometimes they get average income to rub below average bodies, but they like what they do. They're great at it, and they give you that bounce back when you feel it all tight and stiff. So shout out to these guys these masseuses who rubbing some of the wrong things, but shout out to you, brother.
All right, I'm going to piggyback off of the minister. I'm going to go with the Amazon warehouse workers because he cannot get his package less than 24 hours unless those guys in there on those forklifts and the ladies as well. So I give them a shout out too. So hello, ladies. But those guys that work overnight to get that job done, we want to give you all that 21 gun salute. And we want to thank you all for the job that you do. And we want to say here's to you, the men of the...
Welcome to the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
All right, let's jump into the main show. Well, welcome everyone to Figuring Ish Out on Mansplanations Network Ministries, where we don't claim to know everything about all things, but we trying to learn a little bit of things about some things. And this is our Thursday night man studies, where we study the word of man, how man acts, how he responds, and how he carries himself. And I am your host, Mr. Life is a Highway. Ride it all night long, but do not drive drunk. Stay at home for that. And we have Minister Amari and Bad Gemini, and a special shout out to our guest celebrity host, the Bishop. That is Bishop BGS. And sir, we are excited to have you back again because last week we had a great show.
Yeah, and I'm back because I know there was more questions that were to be had, and I didn't have enough time because I had another engagement. So that's why I'm coming back this week for part 2.
Well, yeah. So before we jump into all that, BG take over because I forgot to do something for a second, sir.
He does it to me again. Here we go. But I'm gonna behave though. Look, straight to it. So, BGS.
Yes, sir.
So you have what does it take to get the little verified? You know how people say they celebrities and all that, but when you get to a certain level. Like, what did it take? Do they have that by your name?
Oh yeah. The check mark by your name. You get 100,000 subscriber count. That's when you get the little check by your name verified. Same thing with Twitter.
Okay.
When you get 100,000 subs or followers, they give you a little check.
But can they still, I guess, not ban you, but I guess cancel you even if you have 100,000?
Oh yeah. YouTube reserves the right. If you got 1 million, they can kill your channel. So,
Tommy.
But thing
all the time, so they will cancel you.
They will cancel you. The thing is, even though they're making money, if you rise to the level, say, okay, we can't deal with you, get your shit and get out. Okay.
So BGS, I know. So part of the show tonight, and I have a couple questions for you, right?
I read.
So the first one is, have you heard of sterilization parties?
I haven't heard of that, but I'm not surprised. I'm sure that's a feminist thing.
Yeah. So I started
it's like raw burning.
Yeah. It's so some of the earliest articles I found went back over a decade. So it's not recent, right? It's at least 10 years to my knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And literally they get together and they celebrate removing the ability to reproduce.
Okay. Yeah.
And then they talk about the different methods and what's best and all that kind of thing, right? And I just thought, what the fuck? I didn't realize that having a party to celebrate that was an option. So I just want to know, like, so you've never heard of those before, but what do you think about? Yeah.
It's radical, and when they're doing that, they're making a statement. Really, it's a political statement about how they feel, not only about the society, because there's a lot of pressure on women, to actually reproduce, because as part of society, as part of a race of a human being, that's your job, is to reproduce for the next generation.
Yeah.
And so women, this is their protest against the state and against society, that we're actually going to not participate in this particular function that you want. We're not going to be brood mares for the state, so we're actually going to take away that option. So we can't.
And I guess the thing is, like, so it's kind of, and I don't know if I can say this right, but it's almost akin to when you have people who are transitioning genders, right?
Right.
And at times it's like, oh, well, I want to do this, but then depending on the age group that you're in, are you sure that's something that you really want to do? Because you're really making a permanent choice, right?
Yes.
You're making a lifelong decision based on recent events, recent information, and I don't know if it's always long term, like the effects of, hey, do you regret that 10 years down the line when you realize, hey, maybe I did want kids, right? Maybe I did want to have a family. So I don't know, the whole process of having throwing a fucking party about it.
Yeah.
Like it almost takes some of the seriousness away from it and trivialize it, at least in my opinion.
It's it's like being a how can I say? It's like being a mercenary, right? So instead of strapping on a gun, strapping on a waist belt and backpack and going out and fight a war, shooting war, it's the same thing, right? I'm making a permanent decision, whether it's to risk my life or not have kids or something like that. It's actually a political statement. So when you announce and have a sterilization party, it's a political statement against the society or the government that you're in. That's what it's for.
So you think that they're looking at society and or government as the patriarchy in a sense?
Patriarchy, it could be patriarchy, it could be too liberal, it could be a whole host of things, right? With them, it is the patriarchy because they're probably feminist. I can't say for sure. There's, I can't say what their political or cultural leanings are. That's why you have to go, like block by block. Why are you doing this? And not if they're doing something this radical, then they have a good reason in their minds for doing it. So they're not thinking about the future, right? They're throwing away the future because I want to make a statement that I'm not participating in this.
And I guess for me, like, kind of like a movement in a sense, right? Because when you start, so if you've been on TikTok or Instagram, you see how some of this shit starts, right? Like it starts off as something like fun. Like, I don't know if people remember this, but it was last year, and I saw people pouring alcohol on themselves in a shower and then lighting themselves on fire.
Yeah.
And then I thought, the one thing I have never thought about in my entire life is setting myself on fire.
Yeah.
Like, that has never been an option. Like, you know what? I'm bored. Let me just light myself up real quick.
Yeah.
And so I'm just thinking, like, do you foresee that there's a possibility that this could become or kind of give birth to another movement, given what we've seen with the Supreme Court in the past past month or so rather, of with the repeal of Roe v. Wade?
There will be a percentage of women that are radicalized like that will do it, but those women probably weren't going to have children anyway.
Gotcha. Yeah.
They probably weren't going to have children.
That's an easy choice,
anyway.
huh? When you already said,
I think the last stat I looked at, it was like maybe 21% of current women that are in their fertile age will probably reach their infertility. Their menopause without having kids, so like 21%, so like 1/5. So you factor that in. One fifth of women will not have kids anyway, so that's probably part of the 1/5.
So what do you think is the big push behind women not really wanting kids right now? I understand why a man would not want a kid, especially if he's not married. That I kind of get, but what you think is the whole mindset or the entire thought process of women not wanting kids?
Okay, the thing is, we've over the past 150 years, we've shifted what kids are for, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
No longer used to
Yes.
labor.
Yeah.
150 years ago, kids were labor, right? They were resource. You guys are down south, and you guys probably would go a couple generations back, where most of the folks were either rural or they were farmers, right?
My
Of
mother.
having nine kids was labor, right? The whole family couldn't function unless Papa went out and worked 10, 12, 13 hours out in the field, and Mama was having babies to actually get him some help, because that's what kids were meant for. Starting at 3 years old, they start training children to do some kind of task within the family. So as those kids grow up, they start to help more and more and more, and that's how the unit survives. Not only just the unit, but also the whole little society survives off of producing a whole bunch of kids. Okay, but the thing is, once you take that away, instead of kids being a benefit or resource and being a plus side on the balance sheet, now they're a negative, right? Because kids are not really, to a parent, kids really aren't valuable as far as a resource, right? Basically, that you're actually raising a kid for the society, because by the time the kid is actually effective, able to do something, that kid is grown and the kid is out there doing his own thing. So basically, it's always, other than an emotional attachment, kids are a negative. Feed them, clothe them, educate them. You're talking about 15, 16 years, okay? You're not going to get any of that money back, okay? That's money that you have to spend out. But the thing is, what you're doing is raising that kid for the whole society.
So that's very interesting that you say that, because now we are definitely seeing a shift in parenting who don't want to parent. Like the whole mantra is, the mantra now is F them kids.
Right.
But you kind of get it at this point in time, since you broke it down that way, because there's no monetary value that comes along with the child right now. It's only a expense.
Yeah, they're
Do you
deficit.
think do you think this trend is going to continue?
As far as not having children, it has been, and you can see it anytime you hit a post-industrial society. You see this trend, because I think we're talking about this. A stable birth rate, a stable fertility rate is 2.11. You replace the woman and replace her partner, which is the man, right? That's 2.11. And then there's that 1.1 is for children that don't make it to adulthood. So a woman has to replace not only her, but has to replace her partner. And so once you sit below that, the society actually starts to contract and get older. And then you have to do one or two things. Either you have to die out, or import more people. Now, the Western countries like France, Canada, United States actually import more people. Okay, so the population stays stable.
The melting pot.
The melting pot, right?
So you don't think that women? My personal
Pastor Life.
Yes, sir.
Before you get that question out, we are struggling streamers, and we're gonna set up for the next video. I know we asking these questions. Let's keep it flowing.
No,
we gotta let them know we struggling, and BGS will be happy to answer that.
Oh yeah.
Struggle streaming all over the internets.
Yeah,
we are struggle streaming.
We are struggle streaming all over the internets, all over the YouTubes, all over the Facebooks. We are even struggle streaming on Twitch and trying to struggle stream on MySpace as well. So if you like our struggle streaming, bring it on BGS and a lot of great guys from the manosphere, the womansphere, or wherever sphere they from. We're trying to get them on and we're trying to have a conversation. So if you like what we're doing, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. And if you like what we're doing in our church, you can make a donation to our church because we are a real 501c. So it could be a taxable benefit back to you. So hit that cash app that you see. Oh, I forgot I changed my thing around. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Right there, Crescent Pastor. That's me. Go to the cash app, explanation.
Yeah.
And hit the cash app. And once again, like and subscribe, hit the bell, and personalize. Let's get back to it. So BG.
And also you guys should put your links into your Twitter and your Twitch so the people here that don't know you can subscribe to that also. So if they feel so inclined.
Oh shit, I forgot to even try it. I set it all up, but I forget to go do that. I just do it literally on Facebook.
But I'm telling you, man, after doing this for 8 years, man, I know folks are lazy, man. They want to hit a link. Okay, they don't like typing.
You are definitely right. You are definitely right. I will definitely do that right now.
That's why I always do that when I actually mod for people, mod for other folks. I always make sure I have the link. So when something comes up, I know my folks, right? I know my black people, right? I ain't typing all that in. What was it? Can you spell it? No. Here's the link. Just hit one button. It'll take you right to it. I know my people.
I tried to do the Masculine Nations Cash App, but you just have to pin that to the top, right? There's no way you can actually drop a link on that.
Sure.
Or am I wrong?
You should be able to. If it's a hyperlink, it should pop right up in your in chat.
Well, I would give that a shot, but back to the question that I was asking you, because we talking about women and women not having kids, and we see more and more every day that women are moving more like men and becoming more and more masculine.
Yes, they're trained that way.
Do you think that is the impact of? Do you think not having kids is one of those things that came along with them being more masculine?
Yeah, it does, because if you know, to live a man's life, especially for a woman, she's got to give up something, right? And if she gets pregnant, you're corporate, right? If you go 9 months, a year, 2 years to actually raise a kid, you're gonna fall behind. Okay, you're gonna fall behind in your career. Okay, so that's a sacrifice that you're either gonna have to make or not make. So if you want to keep up with, say, like a PASA or a Mare or even a bad Gemini, guess what? Okay, you're gonna have to sacrifice something. You're gonna have to put on the whole armor of being a man, right? That means you got to sacrifice pregnancy and family. Okay, they're trying to figure out another way around that by creating a quote unquote supportive male. That's like starting in like late 1970s. They started for middle school kids. They started making boys take home economics, right? Because they even said they're gonna have to learn how to.
Oh
cook,
my God!
Go ahead.
No, BJ, no, you are 100% right, because they made me take home ec in middle school,
right?
And I was like, "What the fuck am I doing here?"
Right.
Like it just none of it
resonated
man. With me.
Home ec was dope. Stop it! You're gonna stop disrespect. I enjoy.
What you mean home ec was dope? I didn't feel like I didn't feel like washing dishes in school and washing dishes at home.
I was making sugar cookies from scratch.
Are you making sugar cookies right now? Are you making sugar cookies right now?
I was making breakfast and French toast.
Are you making any of that right now, or do you have?
Yes, I can right now. I can go sew you a pillow with your name on it right now.
Are you?
And it's gonna have two colors on there.
Are you doing that right now?
No, because I go buy it. But if I wanted to make it in the world ended, you're gonna have a bunch of pillows with your name on it.
If the world ended, your ass ain't worried about no French toast.
Okay.
Hey, no, but you're gonna need a pillow.
What French toast are we talking about?
BG, they always go left.
Okay, was it? You brought it out. Normally, I don't see the side of Amare, so but BG brought it out in it. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Okay, there's a very good book that I swear by. Right, I read it. Started reading it in 2014. Right.
Okay.
It's called More Than Title IX. Right, and they actually outline all the programs and their objectives for men and women, how to what they call get equity. In other words, get the same outcomes for women, for especially white women, as they do men, right? And the first thing they said, okay, they're going to have to start training the men how to take care of the household, because what if you get a powerful woman that's a CEO that has to work 80 hours a week as an executive, right? She's gonna need a partner. That's why I hate the word partner, to actually take up that work, right? So she's gonna have to have a man that's trained to, or at least leaning toward that way, to actually accept that role. So this is actually a plan that started out in the 70s, the mid 70s, about how do you get equity for men and women? How do you make how do you actually eliminate what they call gender roles? Okay, that's like you don't have. In fact, I got to do a video on that. The difference between husband and wife, which is marriage, and what we call the new 2.0, which is partners. Okay. Where the roles have to be defined inside the relationship. There's, when I came up, a husband did husband shit, a wife did wife shit. So it doesn't matter if they didn't even like each other. You put them together, they're going to work because they're designed to do their role. I do my stuff, she does her stuff. The household works, right? They eliminated that because now it's partners and there's gender roles. So you have to put everything down on paper and find a partner that's going to work with you. So if I'm like past the life, but I'm a female and I'm working like Pastor probably does like 70 hours, he don't work that anymore. But when he was growing his career, he probably worked a lot of hours.
I did it, and they got me working 40. Now I'm about to quit.
That's not right. That's
you and Amari,
inhuman.
I can't with y'all, man. I can't with y'all.
Let's get to this video, Pastor.
He's
I ain't
frowning
used
at
to
40.
this shit no more.
He ain't but that is why, and this is where this is not something that comes out of nowhere, right? This is actually designed into the culture, starting with the school system. So that's why I said about home ec, because I didn't take home ec in middle school, right, or high school, right? That started with Gen X. It started with Gen X, and it accelerated with millennials, and now it's standard with Z's. But if that answers your question.
Yeah, but Warren Farrell actually talked about this inside one of his books. He talked about the whole thing about the feminist movement. Like the one thing that they failed to do is to was to educate the women to take those men that would cook and clean. The women always still want a man of status, and they were like, if you want to be a CEO, you got to be willing to take the beta male at the same time.
I don't know how where you guys are on time. It's easy to explain because they talk about this in what is it? The End of Men by Hannah Rosen, and I think the book I always suggest, which is The Richer Sex by Liz Munday, right? Okay, biologically, women do not like a supportive male because to a woman, there's only two. When a woman in a marriage, there's only two spots, right? There's children and there's husband. Okay, there is no wife. There's either children or husband. The problem with females, they have to get out of the mindset that my husband that's supportive is not one of my children. Okay, he's there to actually fulfill a role. I'm serious. Okay, he's there to fill a role. Okay, because the thing is these are white women. These are not black women. Black women are on a whole nother level, right? These are white women, right? Okay, he's not manly because I have to take care of him. Women are not biologically suited to actually take care of a man, and that's the problem that they're having. They have to reorient women into actually taking care of a man because that's her job. Okay, your job is a breadwinner. Your job is to take care of the family. He's there to support you. Okay, he's not your child. He's not your woman. You have to respect him like a man. How do you do that in this new environment? And that's the problem. But go ahead.
Man, that's deep.
Hold on, Mar. We know you got these questions. Hold on, we got to pause.
We got time today, okay? Because I don't have to run off. We got time.
Okay.
All right.
And
because this could be a whole show by itself. I understand.
Minister, see, we have a time limit because Minister Mari runs out in about 2 hours. So we got to get as much as we can.
He's not wrong.
And he's gonna clunk out. So, but so we get ready to get into the first reaction video because the reason why I brought up masculine women, because we've been seeing the rise of masculine women, and we even see it inside gangster rap to where we saw men gangster rapping and holding guns, but never have we before see women begin to move like men. And now we've seen a massive change. Well, don't take my word for it. Let's just watch and see what happens.
Baby daddy tripping, he don't want me outside. About to drop my baby off, boy, you know I'm finna slide. Baby daddy petty, always trying to blow my action, claim me daddy, I ain't tripping, boy, please stop capping. That's my baby daddy, he ain't on shit. He just mad cause his baby mama bad bitch. That's my baby daddy, he ain't on shit. He just mad cause his baby mama bad bitch.
Man, this nigga know that I'm gon' pop my shit, I pop out. I ain't fucked up about no whole nigga, my name stay in the whole mouth. Y'all be fucking for cloud, play with me, yeah, I down. Switches for you bitches, guaranteed to sweep your whole house.
I am not surprised. Okay.
There is nothing. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. For me, whatever sexual attraction I had was immediately repulsed by that video. And all I could think about was one of them might have. I can't say that out loud. Shit. Fuck it. I'm gonna say it anyway. That last one looked like if she.
She was pregnant.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
She was pregnant. She was pregnant.
Who, the last one? No, the first one was pregnant. The last one that was rapping was not pregnant. She was just fat.
I was.
BGS, what you think about that, sir?
This is this is the black community unleashed, man. This has always been there. I was just reading over Kenneth Clark's Dark Ghetto. He actually wrote it back in the 60s, which what the Monahan report is actually based off of, he talked about this. He talked about the lower classes invading the upper classes and how the women are actually dominant because we live in a matriarchy, right? Black women actually dominate over the males. So this is not unusual. The thing is, now there's money that actually allow them to actually do it. So this is just unleashing what's already there, what's already been there. Black women have always wanted to be the man in the relationship.
So BGS, well, hold up, wait a second. So do you think that's because you in a previous conversation that you were on, you mentioned how with the end of slavery,
right,
the role of the man switched from the black men to the black woman. So you're saying that, would you be saying that is also part of the cause, right? With that,
yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Since the in slavery, right, to have perpetual slavery, they actually passed a law where the status of the child was the status of the womb. Okay, so in other words, that actually took patriarchy and made a mini matriarchy within the slave quarters. So the black woman has always been in charge of the family, even though the outside was patriarchy. Inside the black community was always the matriarchy. It's just extended out into once emancipation happened, it didn't stop. It just kept going, and then it got reinforced in the Jim Crow.
So I'm gonna ask a question that is a little random.
Let
me give you a scenario. A man is married to a woman. They have a child, right?
Right.
But that man also has his wife's mother come live with them and help take care of that child.
Right.
What kind of man do you think that person is? If his mother-in-law is living with them, helping to raise the child too.
Okay, if in a patriarchy, it's no big deal because they all follow the man, right? He's in charge, so it doesn't matter. Okay, in our community, which is a matriarchy, she's in charge.
That's what that's what I thought.
It's a big mama. If you guys from the South, everybody knows Big Mama's always in charge.
Big Mama runs the rules, right? That's
Big Mama runs the rules.
Yeah. But what threw me off about this video, because I want to jump back to it, because it was like some key things that going on in there.
Okay.
They was actually grabbing their crotch and shooting air guns like male rappers.
Right.
And when we talk about women becoming more like men, this is indicative of what we're talking about right now. How do you think we can move forward as a race and as a people if we're putting out things like this? Where is it for men to go, and what is it the men to do? Or do men just simply go MGTOW, or they go overseas?
Well, they have to go MGTOW or SYSBM or go overseas if you don't want to be part of it, because I've been told by females, right, that as long as men put up with it, we're not going to change, okay, because they don't believe that you're going to go anywhere. And I've been told that I said, oh, well, we don't have to change, but guess what? You niggas still put up with this stuff.
Yeah, because they still. Well, another question is: it the men put up with them as in having sex or marrying them, or is it the women just settling for the sex and thinking that he wants to be with them?
All the above. Go back to Monty and Scissors. Black women, if they can get money and survive, they are perfectly willing to jettison you and use you for sex or companionship or whatever it is, right? They don't need you in the household, and sometimes they don't even want you in the household. This is something. Yeah. This is something that's very, very kind of say a signature of the Black community, of the Black subculture, right? Okay, I actually was looking through the. I read a lot, so this is kind of esoteric, right? Brief Off the Mothers, right? He was talking about the maternal clan and the matriarchy, right? And I was telling Dr. Johnson, I said, at least 9 out of the 10 things that he marked off as a matriarchy actually fit the Black community. Okay, fit the Black community. 9 of the things that he actually highlighted. And the great use of the word jettison. Okay.
Let me chime in. I know I've been quiet because I knew if I was quiet for a little bit of time, my brain cells would regenerate.
Okay.
After what I saw, I had to give them time to come back to life because
that's not how brain cells work. That's why
I don't care.
You know what the worst thing is? You know what the worst thing is? There's a group of guys that see those chicks as beautiful and viable. That's sometimes it's shocking. How
is it beautiful and viable or easy and low hanging fruit?
Both, yeah.
To some people.
But also, can tell you it's both. If you grew up with that as your example of what a woman is,
yeah,
that you are attracted to that. You think that is soft, maternal, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But
Yeah.
if that is what you grew up with as women around you, yeah, you're gonna see that, and you're gonna think that's sexy.
Yeah, they do. I wish I
address
could
one
say-
thing about the
Go
video
ahead.
real
Okay,
quick.
go ahead.
Real quick. This the problem I had, right? I see they ratchet and all that. So basically, you dropping off a baby. You're mad at this guy, but you got a whole nother baby in you. Like, what are we talking about? Like, it ain't like she just dropped the baby off.
Hey, BG, what's gonna bust your noodle? Are they from the same guy?
No,
And it makes it doubly bad. It's no matter which way, it's still a bad point for her.
that might not even be his kid that he's dropping off at that house. Like that might even be the right kid, right? That
It's bad any way you look at it, BGS.
That could be side dude, or one of the dudes in the milieu, right?
Yeah.
It's bad any way you look at it. She got one. First off, the one ain't even walking. We still got it in a whole car seat, right? It's not even a toddler. We dropping off one while being, and it looked like she almost do with this next one. They ain't like it's a little belly, like she do any day now.
Are
right? And
these
so
the,
you dropping another one off.
Are these the women we could recommend sterilization to?
We can recommend it.
They take it? No.
But the thing is, those are the ones that have 15 kids.
That's something I wanted to ask you earlier, right? So the women who are getting sterilized, can they make? I mean, maybe they have, right? An argument that I see is like, hey, we can get sterilized because there's a woman out there that for every child we would have had, they're gonna have 2 or 3.
That's part of it. Yeah, that's part of it. That's part of it. There's that argument. There's the argument.
So back to the sterilization thing. How will this impact Black women going forward?
Mostly the women that are getting sterilized are probably not Black. Okay, Black women, because they come from a Judeo-Christian background, they don't believe in that. Hell, Black women don't even believe in using birth control for the most part. So sterilization is probably a bridge too far.
They use the calendar, right, based on whatever dates in the cycle, right?
Yeah, I wish that was the case. It's more like take my ovaries and roll them like dice, see what pops out. Oh, snake eyes gonna have.
So can I tell you a true story?
Go ahead.
Before my grandmother passed away, she was in her 70s.
Okay,
I don't remember when exactly it happened,
Mm-hmm.
but she had an IUD in her for like over a decade, didn't realize it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so I don't know how to say this, but I think my grandmother might have been a lady of the night. And my mom was like, yeah, she always had different men coming in and out of the house. Different people. I was like, yeah, Mom, there's a reason for that.
Mm-hmm.
She might have not been as, she didn't ever go into a church because she thought she was gonna get struck by lightning. That should tell you the kind of woman she was.
Okay.
But I said to say, like,
and you're normal. Okay. That's
I'm not. No.
Okay.
Borderline.
Not by a long shot.
What the fuck?
Both
He is
Pastor
not
and
normal.
BG there is nothing normal. When you grew up in the environment that I grew up in, if you were normal, you would have committed suicide and or died.
Okay.
So you have to be different in order to survive.
Okay.
But what I was saying is that, like, for her, after 11 plus kids, that was when she decided to use birth control.
I think if she had an IUD and didn't realize it was in her, I think somebody decided for her.
Possibly.
Yeah. You had your last kid. They're in there. So let's do this. Yeah. To make sure that she can't do this anymore.
So
Down south, they did it all the time.
We're from Miami.
Yeah, they did. They do it. I've heard about that where say a little girl, a fast ass little girl, she have a couple of kids, right? And the last time she have the kid, she go in there and the doctor does something so that she can't have any more kids. Yeah. So I've heard those stories.
Shit.
So back to this topic about Black women and how it impacts them.
Right.
The common news theme is that without them having the ability to actually go sterile or sterilize or sterilization during pregnancy,
right,
is that there was a higher rate of them dying.
Okay.
What is your perception of that? Do you think it's a myth? Do you think it's false, or is it just a massive dramatization of the real truth that's going on?
Talking about dying as far as after they get sterilized?
Well, I'm not trying to use the A word, but they say if they can't actually get the A word,
Okay.
and they actually go for pregnancy, there's a chance of them.
Oh yeah,
actually,
yeah. Well, it's minor. It's really minor nowadays. It's minor, but yeah. Anytime a woman is as close to death as she can get when she's having a baby, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it used to be that was actually a real life risk to have a baby. Every time she had a baby, there was a real life risk of her dying. So it's not as much as it used to be, but is there a minor risk of her dying when she's delivering? Yeah, there is. Okay, there's a lot of things that can actually go wrong, but it's real minor. But there's some truth to it. Go ahead.
All right. Well, let's just get into this news segment so you can hear what I heard, and maybe you can address it from that.
The University of Colorado in 2021 reveals banning abortion nationwide would lead to a 21% increase in the number of pregnancy-related deaths among all women and a 33% increase among Black women. The study's authors also add Black women are more likely to seek an abortion for a variety of reasons, including unequal access to housing, education, jobs, healthcare, and other things. CBS 46's Yasmina Alston spoke with a woman who runs an Atlanta-based organization dedicated to eliminating these exact barriers standing between minorities and certain forms of healthcare. Yasmina, good evening.
Yes, Savannah, good evening. And as we continue to see protests because of this decision, advocates are quickly working to find solutions, especially for Black and brown women.
This will hit Black and brown women the hardest.
The consequences won't be good, according to Linda Goler-Blount. She is the CEO of the Black Women's Health Imperative and understands the outrage over the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade.
It made me really afraid. It made me afraid for Black women, brown women, and low-income women today, but it really made me afraid for the next generation that's going to come up.
The Supreme Court's decision will hurt Black and brown women the most, says Blount. She tells me poverty rates and maternal mortality rates will increase, especially for Black women. According to Blount, Black maternal mortality rates will increase by 33% if they can't have access to abortion care.
By removing this ability to choose, to make the best health decisions, we're saying to these people are saying to women, and Black and brown women in particular, that you're not of value. And we expect that some of you will die because of this.
29.
All right, so you saw the first part of that.
Right.
Man, go ahead, DGS.
No. the thing is what they should say is that will the risk go up because more women are actually getting pregnant? Yes. The thing is what they should do is support prenatal health care, which poor women normally can't afford. So if you're going to force them to have kids, actually support them with more money for prenatal health care. When most women actually get sick or die is because they don't get the health care that they actually need. So there's a way around it. But the thing is, I think, what is it? One out of 1,000 women die during pregnancy. So if it should actually go up by 33%, was it one more person? So 2 out of 1,000? Those, when they use percentages, basically they do that as impact, but it doesn't mean a whole lot. Adding one more death to the percentage, does it mean something? Yes, but the thing is, it's not as big of an impact. Like a third of women that get pregnant are actually going to die. It's not going to happen. But the thing is, you can actually get around that by actually putting more money out there for prenatal health care. If you're going to have Black and brown women have babies, force them to have babies, give them more access to health care. Prenatal health care.
So you're saying the overall thought of this is that you wouldn't actually see this increase if they had if they had more available health care to them at some point in time.
Right. During their pregnancy, yeah.
But do you think it boils down to the woman having some form of education and going to get it herself? Because we've had this debate once, twice, or 3 times because I work inside healthcare, right? So I'm out there in the hospital, skilled nursing clinics all day long, meeting with doctors, nurses, and having conversations. And the one thing that boils down to when we talk about like the homeless population or the homeless population or certain people is just that they will not come in and get it when it's available for them. So does it boil down to education, or even if you make it available, if they don't come and get it, will that still impact it?
It's going to impact. It's going to impact, but the thing is, it's not going to. We talk about homeless population and women getting pregnant, having kids on the street, you got to do something about that. That's beyond a healthcare problem. It's beyond a pregnancy problem, right? Why are these people on the street? Okay, why are women actually out there on the street, right? If you have that many women out there on the street, homeless, and can't get health care, that's an issue. But that's a different issue, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, but I also want to say this too. And so, Pastor, you and I had this conversation off air, which is that you can have access to all of that, but it's the quality of that access that also matters, right? Because if you go into, so for example, I grew up in the hood. Our doctor was on like Medicaid, Medicare, all that shit, right? But there was a line. So yeah, you have access to it, but the quality of that access and the time that it takes to get that access are barriers that you have to overcome. I remember waiting in line or being at the doctor's office for hours, having to wait to get seen because again, we were on those benefits and we weren't able to write a check or put on a credit card or have insurance, right? So it's also having access it's not just having access, but it's having access to quality healthcare because we got plenty of fucking access, but the quality of the access at those lower levels that we're talking about, it ain't there. It's not there.
Yeah, it's more about money.
Let me interject real quick, Pastor.
When you actually do have, hold on a second. I could say when you actually do have health insurance, that it still probably be wet and wet because once again, I'm in there every day, and a doctor that takes insurance that takes commercial insurance is just as inundated as a doctor that's doing anything Medicaid. I see it all day long. These doctors are seeing somewhere between 50 and 70 patients a day, and we're talking about one doctor. Well, the tops is about 50 for one doctor, right? So that's like who can see the most. But you're still talking somewhere between 30 and 50 patients the average doctor is seeing. If you're talking Medicaid, they can't see no more than 50 like most commercial doctors can see at the same time. So it boils down to, you might have lines, but all these places are having lines and backed up because once again, I don't think it's about quality healthcare. I'm going down a rabbit hole right now. I think it's about what they're actually doing to doctors.
I think it's both. I don't think there's either or thing. I think it's both. But the thing is that the biggest impact probably will be the way they're talking. It's probably going to be income. Okay, it's going to be income because if you're making $100,000 a year, you probably have way more options than somebody that's below the poverty line or homeless. So it's not an either or thing. But you're both right, but thing is for different reasons, I think.
Let's just say,
man, look at these numbers,
doctor,
though.
I don't have to wait line.
Go ahead, BG.
Look, we know you bougie. You ain't waiting in nobody's line, and that's not at a club either. He paying for VIP. He VIP everything.
Hopefully he's not pregnant either, but it's okay.
And if he were,
no, we are not doing that.
I had a dog with purpose.
I had a dog for 4 months. And when I woke up on my birthday, I told that dog we had what we had while we had it, and she's gone.
Hope you found her a new home.
She's a good
Y'all
person.
are nuts.
Okay.
This is what I hate about numbers.
Vivi says. Look what Vivi put on.
What she say?
Didn't seek. Go ahead. Okay. Didn't seek prenatal health care 16 years ago until I was 6 months pregnant. Couldn't afford it and was simply unknowledgeable. So, I said, those are both halves of the coins that you and Pastor was talking about.
I definitely
she didn't
talked
know
about
and she couldn't afford it. Yeah.
Well, she could afford it because it was there. It was the knowledge part right there, right? Because I think that's the biggest difference. Other races have a conversation with their kids about sex at an early age.
Yeah.
We tend to shy away from that conversation because I personally know my mother is the king of getting benefits from the system. All right, that's all I'm gonna say. So she know her resources quite well.
Okay.
And we lack for nothing, and we was dirt poor. I mean, literally dirt poor. But we had all our appointments and all those type of things. We didn't go to the dentist because she just wasn't actually adept about going to a dentist. But my auntie would come get my sister and take her to the dentist, but not me. But at the same time, and they would use the benefits that my mother already had in place. And that's what I'm talking about. It's more about the educational side because we don't have those conversations and we don't move inside those veins. I think that's the more of the disservice to our community than anything else, because they are there. You don't have to go to the local clinic, if you have Medicaid, you can literally go to a real doctor. And if that doctor takes Medicaid, you can get in and see that doctor. You don't have to go to the place that everybody else goes to. Now, if we talking about all those indigent patients, that's a whole different ball game at that point in time. But once again, if you're young, there are avenues for you to get insurance, even if we just don't know how to get that. You can go to a hospital and tell them that you don't actually have insurance or income, and go talk to the billing office, and they will provide service for you. These are things that people don't know.
See, you're saying that, but the counter to that is, when I go to a hospital, 1, everyone is fucking busy. 2, who do I talk to? 3, how long am I waiting to talk to that person? 4,
I just told you.
I'm saying like,
that sounds like shopping at Walmart. I get all those same things when I'm at Walmart.
But how do I, as an uneducated black girl who is pregnant, know that shit?
I don't know, but my mama found out the same way.
Your mama also puts razors in her weave.
Exactly my point.
He gonna make a way.
It's called outlier. It's called
exactly my point.
It's not a norm. If you look
gonna make a way.
If you look at the norm, the knowledge that you are talking about having, that is not there. The people who are having the majority of babies are not aware of all this shit, right? And they're probably not watching this podcast because they out there making.
Are we just saying the same thing? I'm saying that is education.
I'm saying they don't have that education.
That's literally what I'm saying.
No, what you're saying is you can.
What they don't have and how they get it to them. So we're bridging the gap is
how. What the fuck? What I am saying is that they don't know what you're saying, and that they're not going to know that. There is no way for them to know that unless they watch this podcast. They're not going to learn that any other way.
I'm pretty sure they figure out how to get child support.
So, look, whole time out.
Yeah.
Time out. Based
And
on what
monetary
you're saying,
incentive.
Look, y'all guys are nuts. So you have Mari's down there. So he's saying they don't have it regardless of if it's provided to them. And then you're saying, Pastor, they're not seeking it. But it's a mindset thing. It looks like that's the go between those points, right? Because if they don't have the mindset to go seek it, don't matter how much it's available. So your frustration, you're in the medical field, like, okay, well, we got it for you. Come and get it. But then Amari's like, they ain't thinking about that. So why they gonna come get when they don't know what they need to come get, right? And so the thing is, how do we bridge that gap then, right? Because you're saying it's readily available for a pastor, and then Mari says they're not thinking about it. So what's the in-between to bridge that gap?
I don't know if there's an in-between, because you got to look at freedom. And let me tell you a story, because I help men, right? I help old men. That's my ministry. So I had this lady that owns a assisted living facility. She called me up, and it was this old black guy living on his own in a mobile home trailer that the floor was about to fall in. She said, hey, go talk to him and see, can you get him to move inside my place? And I literally give him $200 and let him keep his 1,000. She'll take 1,000 and give him $200. And if you know anything about assisted living facilities, they usually charge about $3,000. She was just trying to help the guy. I go to the guy's house, having a conversation with this man. I look at this man from head to toe. He's lying in a hospital bed. I see that he has a tube running from his stomach to somewhere that I don't know. And inside this tube, you see pulse going inside this tube, right? So I see that something's going on. And then I'm looking at his legs and feet. So I asked him, like, man, there is a place available for you if you want to go, and you can at least make sure you live out the rest of your life good. He was like, man, you came from this lady, right? And I said, yeah. And then he says that, man, I ain't going over there. I'm going to stay right here and do what I want to do. And I look at him and said, well, bro, at least you can go over there and have a woman to take care of you while you die. And this is how I'm talking to him, because this is how I talk to old black men, because they understand what's going on. I said, would you rather die with a young woman around you taking care of you? And he was like, nah, man, I'm gonna stay right here and do what I want to do. So I was like, so you want to go to the doctor? And he was just like, nah, man, I ain't going to there. And I literally know that he had something going on, because I see the tube running from him to somewhere we still don't know where it's going. And I see pulse all inside the bed. So I look at him and say, bro, if you get up and try to walk to this TV and you fall, you're going to go inside a skilled nursing facility, and they're going to keep you in there for the rest of your life. So would you rather go here or would you rather go there? And he looked at me and said, man, I'm going to die right here. My point is, when I say all this right here, There are certain things that you can do for people, but you cannot change everybody. There's going to be a certain demographic out there that's going to do what they want to do. You can have all the conversations you want to have. You can educate them all you want to, but they're going to simply move how they want to move. I have this conversation at least 4 times a week, 45 times a week with men, and I can guarantee you 4 out of 5 will not accept any help. They would rather die. I meet with a homeless guy and say, man, I got a place for you to live. They're going to charge you $500 a month. He gets $800 a month in disability. He say, no, they're going to take my $500 and I'm going to go live under the bridge and drink.
Yeah, there's people out there that are like that. You know.
Yeah,
but
fully
they're small percent. But that's a very small percentage, though.
Well, I believe that.
I mean,
people in general.
People in general. I'm talking about the homeless is a very small percentage of the whole population. Very small.
Man.
Unless you're in San Francisco.
No. You think about it. If the homelessness was like that, man, like 10%, you'd know it in a heartbeat. They'd be everywhere.
Yeah, it's more like 3%, right? Somewhere like
no, it's like 1%.
1%. It's like 3 million that they actually estimated. Yeah, you're right.
Probably less than it's about 1%.
Yeah.
I'm not. One of my theories is that all these new issues that are popping up between the monkey and the other one is to help cull part of the population that can't afford certain things.
Could be.
Yeah, like, so hey, you know what? You don't have a place to stay. Goodbye. And we move on to the next. That's all.
Population control's been a part of history, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it always is. Yeah.
All right, so go ahead, BG.
No, I was going to say in one way or the other. I was just answering this question. Go ahead.
All right, so I was watching one of your videos where you responded to a young gentleman where you call a Padawan.
Yes.
And I've heard you have conversations about the 10 years doctrine because that's why we wanted you back to actually have a conversation about.
Okay.
So let's get into that. First, give us a rundown of what the 10 years doctrine is, and then we want to know how that impacts black men when it comes to deletions.
Okay. The 10 years doctrine basically came out of a court case in 1804, right, where this woman that had moved to France and taken a child, right. But the thing is, that's when Europe had a really strong patriarchy. So they sent people down, snatched the child off her breast, okay, and brought the child back to the father, right, because those are paternal rights, okay. And what she was saying is that the child is too tender to be taken away from the mother at a certain age. All right, that was the beginning of the 10 years doctrine. So the 10 years doctrine actually says that between the ages of 1 and 7, you can't remove the child from the mother, even though the father has ownership of the child. Okay, and that got extended to from 7 years to 16 years. So in other words, what it really did was actually state actually gave custody, took the paternal rights away from the father, and gave the ownership of custody to the female, to the mother, for a certain period of time. You even see that in Islam now, where with ages 1 through 7, you can't take the child away from the mother. But that's where it comes from. So basically, it's actually taking away paternal ownership of the child from the father. And that's what started the modern feminist movement.
So do you think that's fair?
Is it fair? I can see 1 through 7 because the child needs to be weaned and the child probably doesn't need the mother from ages 1 to 7. Do I think it's fair? No, especially if the father has to pay for it. Yeah. So you can't, in my opinion, this is my feeling, okay? You can't take away a man's paternal rights or paternal custody of the child and still charge him with paternal responsibility. In other words, if you want the kid, you have ownership of the kid, that's your kid. I don't have to pay for it because you own the child. That's your child. It's like me, like Amari paying by actually buying an expensive car and I'm driving it, but he still has to pay the notes and insurance for it. Okay, he doesn't own it. He doesn't have custody of it. I drive it every day, but he has to have responsibility for the car. That's not fair. Okay.
Isn't that called alimony?
It's called child support.
Okay.
Yeah, child support right there.
Yeah, that's true. We was about the car. I figured alimony, but yeah, child
support. No. In other words, you buy the car right off the lot. Okay. Yeah. And you sign up. You start getting your note payment, and from day one, I take the car and I'm driving it around. But you have to pay for it. Okay, you have responsibility of paying for the note, maintaining the car, and actually put insurance on the car. But you don't have custody of it because I got it. Okay, that's literally what it is.
All right, you said I think last week about 17 to 18 states was getting ready to move towards joint custody for the kids, right?
In other words, 10 years doctrine assumes that the mother, in the best interest of the child, has to give the child to the mother. She has first rights of refusal to that child, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what they're moving to is closer to what it used to be, which is giving the father more rights. So now it's 50-50, right? When a child is born, each parent has equal rights or equal opportunity to have custody of that child. But when I was coming up, it's automatically the mother, like 99%. Okay, she's assumed to be the best parent for that child. Now they're moving back toward 50-50, which they're taking away the 10 years doctrine. It's even now, or assumed to be even. And I think that's because a lot of guys said, if I got to pay for it and I don't have custody, it's a trap for me. It's slavery for me. So they said, I'd rather not do it. So if they want men to come back to the table and actually take care of kids, they have to give them an even break. And I think this is a bone they're throwing towards men.
So you believe because men are actually stepping away from having kids,
right.
Do you think that's part of the impact?
Oh yeah. The state needs children, right? And the state can't afford to pay for all these kids. They need the money and the involvement of the men. But if it's unfair, men are not going to do it. So they have to move back toward the middle.
But isn't there a state, we talked about this last week, where they're talking about making the guy pay child support while she's actually pregnant?
In other words,
do you think you'll see more laws like that?
Actually, a lot of that stuff is already written into a lot of what they call your heartbeat bills, your anti-abortion bills.
Yeah.
Where if she wants to apply, if she can apply for prenatal child support, right? But the thing is, she has to have a DNA test, just like she would if the child was born. In other words, if I'm making this a baby at 8 weeks, that means it's viable. The state says that's the baby at 8 weeks. Okay, so that somebody has to support that baby at 8 weeks. She can't kill it. She can't get rid of it. So somebody has to support it, her and the father. So they're changing the way the law actually works. But that's actually, huh?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
No, I respect that. You got me thinking, because in my situation, right? So, I provide for my 2 young bucks, divorced not too long ago. And when you think about how crazy guys will get to buck the system, you got guys who say, I'm not going to work. Like, we pay me under the table. They prefer that. Like, yeah, don't cut me a check. I won't mind cash. They do not need to know I'm getting this money, because the system is so jacked up, right? Where it's,
right.
If you say I'm supposed to provide, then why are you suspending my license? And if I still ain't paying, then why am I going to jail? Like, I definitely can't pay for this kid now that I'm in prison. But guess what? It still addresses the labor issue, because now I'm in here. It's still free labor. So we're going to get this labor one way or another. It's either you're going to pay and for this child, or you're going to be behind bars, and we're going to get this work up out of you if you don't pay for said child. So
it costs the system more than actually put you in jail. But the thing is all laws like that are deterrents, right? So it's not about you, it's about the next guy, next 10 guys. Okay. They see BG getting his rights stripping away, his driver's license stripping away, losing his job, thrown in jail. I don't want to be that guy. So I'm willing to actually pay what I owe. Yeah. So it's about,
I got a couple of uncles that just go ahead and get their license taken, and they do their 30 days, get out, and just drive cars illegal. I got one been doing it for the last 20 years.
Yeah. What I'm saying is for upstanding citizens like yourself that have a lot to lose, you're not going to do
that. Yeah. But as we've said on this show, the people that tend to have the most amount of children don't really give a shit because they don't have anything to lose.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
They lost it all already.
Male and female. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. And also, like, that whole thing, like, so I was talking to a woman earlier today, and I, based on, again, a lot, and BGS, I thank you, because you coming on this show has provided an illumination to a lot of what I grew up in. So like, I told her, I was like, hey, you talk about Section 8, right? And I said, but do you realize that in Section 8, you can't have a man there? And that if the man is not there, that means that those children don't have a male figure to understand what a man should be. And even then, if you as the woman make too much money, you get kicked out. So you have to stay in a place to not make money in order to have a place to live. And then your children get raised in that environment and do the same thing. So they never go and buy a house. So and I told this to Pastor before, I was like, in my immediate family, if you talk about my immediate family, right? I am the oldest of 10 plus.
Okay.
I am the only person in that entire immediate that owns a home.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else rents and has rented their entire life.
Yeah.
No
It's
one is owned.
culture that you're raised in. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was telling her, I was like, so understand this, right? Like in that Section 8 housing, it's not there to help you. It's there to keep you. It's not there to help you transition out of it. It's there to keep you and to keep those kids from having a male figure. It's not designed to help you, because if it's designed to help you, then it would help you gradually get out. But the moment you make over a certain amount, your ass is out.
These laws, when they first enacted these particular, especially at the federal level, these laws are actually built for women, widows, and orphans. Right? It was not designed for a whole family. It was designed to be temporary. Wasn't designed for perpetual lifestyle. It kind of morphed into that. They're trying to transition away from that. But the thing is that at some point it becomes a what kind of self perpetuating cycle.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the reason that you can't have a man in the house, because the original laws were built for widows and orphans. Now, FDR made an exception because of the Depression, right? Say if the father went someplace and to look for work and never came back, that's desertion, right? So he actually made an extra checkbox for desertion. But the man in the house has a very good reason for not having men in the house, because it's not built for that. Built for married women that lost their husband. That's what it's built for. Take care of the wife and take care of the child.
But and not to get too far away, but pique my interest. Isn't Social Security in that same arena? Right.
So actually, welfare is actually under the Social Security Act. AFDC is part of Social Security. So when they change AFDC, you're changing the Social Security laws. Okay. Social Security, I think, is Title 4, Social Security, AFDC. Got to go back and look at my book. I think that's what it's under. In fact, FDR said eventually Social Security was actually take the place of welfare, AFDC. So it's a long history. The thing is, you know how it is when things get going until they start changing shit. It goes well beyond what it's actually intended for.
Yeah.
That's what we're seeing now. In fact, the Bill Clinton's actually trying to get it back closer to.
You mean former President Bill Clinton?
Yeah, former President Bill Clinton in 1996 tried to get it back closer to what it was actually for in the first place, which is temporary.
Okay. Yeah.
So back to the tender years, how does that impact men going forward with the changes that we're seeing?
Oh, well, okay. If you get rid of the tender years doctrine, okay, then you go back to what we call equality, actually eliminating. You're not eliminating custody for women or maternal rights for women or maternal custody for women. What you're doing is making it equal. Okay. You can't expect him to support it without some kind of equity. In other words, he's got just as much right to that kid as you do. We're not assuming that you're the best parent for the child, okay? Like we did for the last 200 years. Okay. In other words, he had the same shot as you. When that baby comes out, the best parent gets it, no matter whether it's male or female. So they eliminated 10 years doctrine, because 10 years said the best parent for the child was the mother. And you pay, because that's your responsibility. Yeah. So in other words, now, sweetie, you have a baby with this guy. If you're not a good parent, he's a better parent. He gets the kid and you pay, which we call what? Equality, right?
That is equality, and we believe in passing out equality on here. We pass it out all the time.
Equal rights.
My wife taking out the trash right now.
and you sitting up looking cute in pinstripes. Huh?
I know, right? But in the morning, I will bring it up. Hey, I'm being dead damn serious right now. Y'all think I'm joking?
That's not a joke. That is not a
joke. But when we're talking about deletion and the tender years, will there be any implications on that? Would a man have a say-so if it comes out that he's the father, or do you think technology is going to drive anything like that going forward?
Technology going forward, I would say if you fast forward 30 years, then the state will be able to produce its own children. Okay, they won't need male or female. They can actually take some cells, put it into a dish, put it into a bag or whatever they have as an artificial womb, grow their own kid.
If you go back, test tube, baby.
Well, yeah, literally, yeah. Yeah, literally. Go if you go back and look at.
I'm listening. That's all I'm doing.
If you've ever read the book, what is it, The Brave New World, Aldous Huxley?
Aldous Huxley, yeah.
Yeah,
I watched the series.
That's exactly what you're gonna get. That's what they're shooting for. where sex doesn't matter, right? Women don't have to have sex, or because it's not necessary for them to actually have children like they do now. For the state can produce its own children.
So, do you think men are going to become a little bit more loose than what they are right now? Or will men begin to retract even more if they actually have to take care of their own kids?
What do you mean loose? What do you mean by loose?
Well, sexually, right? Because we know they shoot up the club right now. But if that's retracted and they get joint custody, what do you think is going to be the impact going forward on that?
Well, the thing is, if you shoot up the club and you custody the kid, now you have a kid as a single father.
Yeah. So I'm asking is, do you think men going to be a little bit more responsible now, knowing that the girl might say, "Hey, take the kid"?
Yeah, that's a damn good question. That's a damn good question.
I honestly, no. Because if that's the kind of guy that's going to shoot up the club, I doubt having a kid is going to change his mind.
Okay. Well, so we're going to have...
Can I add this to it, though? Let me say the flip side of that, because the guy still has leverage. We've already seen where you can be a knucklehead, have 5 kids, and you're still a viable candidate. So if it's now I'm taking care of the kid, guess what a woman's saying? I see you, but, you're a single daddy. I can help you with that. It's not typically the other way around where a woman's with 5 kids and the guy say, I'm lining up to be daddy number 6. Right. No. So if he has the 1 or 2 kids, the woman is like, okay, well, I can rock with that. I help you out.
So are we gonna have a baby daddy that has 5 different kids by 5 different women in a household?
Yeah.
And throw McDonald's.
But you can't. But women find that attractive because my dad had nothing but different kids from different women, and he just kept pulling more women. Like it was never a deterrent that he had.
But was he taking care of the kids? Like literally living?
No, my grandmother was taking care of the kids, but he wore Louis Vuitton, so they didn't care.
What does that tell you? Was that tell you, Pastor? You know what kind of guy that was?
He need to tell the truth.
He slapped.
His daddy Louis Vuitton came from Flea Market USA out of Miami.
No. I'm gonna tell you, my dad had a different type of.
How hard?
No, he had a different kind of income stream. If you understand what I'm saying, his income stream was non-taxable.
Okay, is that guy?
Yeah, so he had custom-made Louis Vuitton hat, jacket, and pants.
Okay.
When Eddie Murphy had his special where he wore all red leather, my dad went out and bought Louis Vuitton, had it custom-made. Because that was the shit back then. But no, his income was non-taxable.
What kind of shoes did he wear?
I was about to say, you can know that.
He wasn't when they hollered at Dapper Dan in New York.
When he says that, okay, he was one of those guys.
Yeah, my dad traveled up and down the Eastern Seaboard in sales, but he didn't have a sales job.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay.
Dad was the connect. He was the plug.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, but a guy's still in a good situation though, if he's the one who rocking with him, because he'll find a woman who, especially if it's like 1, 2, if it's 4 or 5, she's gonna have some questions she may ask first, like how you left with him. But if he's just an F boy and gives you a sob story, you know what I'm saying, then he can make it happen still. But if it's legitimately, I took these kids, I want to take care of them, she'll partner up with no problem.
Well, we'll see. The thing is, it's never happened before. We'll have to see when the state's actually involved like this.
So saying if you could predict the future of how all this look, what do you think is going to happen when these laws begin to retract, or some get repealed and some get put in place to make sure that we have equality as men? And my last question on top of that is, what does that do to the men's right movement? Where do the men's right movement go after that?
I think if you get 50-50 assumed custody, where you have equal shot at the kid, and equal shot and reduced child support. I think that's where men's right actually wants to head. Okay, where you eliminate most of the alimony, most of the child support. You get together, you have a kid. One person takes care of the kid versus the other. I think that's what actually have achieved their goal as far as men's rights. And men's rights just want a level playing field. I think that's what you're going to have going forward.
So What do you think that would do to the red pill, purple pill, and black pill space?
I think, well, the thing is that you having a child could get caught up paying child support prenatally. I think it's actually going to increase the red pill space. I think the purple pill space is actually going to increase because I call purple pill red pill for women. And women
can you explain to the people that might not know what that means?
Okay, red pill is hardcore truth, right, for men. Okay, it is what it is. Okay, if you sign up for this contract or these group of women, you're going to get what you get. So how can you navigate it if you're going to make this choice? Okay, that's red pill. Okay, for men. Purple pill is a mixture of blue pill and red. Okay, women cannot be completely red pill because their nature will not allow it, right? But the thing is, they have to have enough truth and enough knowledge to actually navigate a new environment, because men said, you know, guess what? We're not going to participate. We're going to make different choices. And men and women are not used to that. They're used to the old men actually being in the old tradition of patriarchy, right? I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to pay for everything. I'm going to support the kid, but you get all these rights and privileges. Okay, men saying, "Nah, that's the new day." Okay, you're gonna have to learn how to be responsible for your own actions, and women don't know how to do that yet. So I call purple pill red pill for women. They have to learn what men have already learned. You see a lot of that popping up.
So, BGS. So let me ask you this, right? Like, so in the African American community, right, or Black community in America.
Right.
As you mentioned, most women are in that kind of Judeo-Christian faith, but at the same time, with slavery being what it was, they are also the heads of the household by default.
Right.
How hard is it for them to take that information from that real, kind of like the red, you said the point of the red pill, and unlearn what they've always known as truth?
It's okay. It's going to take a long time, man, because we got some hard-headed ass Black women. And they've been trained over 12 generations, man.
No, but you're right, though. You're right.
Yeah,
You're 100% right. Yeah.
I mean, I don't have to tell you guys because we all Black, right? We all come from Southern roots, and we know how deep this shit goes. Okay.
My mother told my brother that the rapture was getting ready to happen soon.
Yes.
And that because of all the monkey, all that shit. And I said to him, I was like, so she thinks that airline pilots who are flying planes, doctors who are giving birth, a woman that's pregnant are just gonna fucking vanish out of thin air and then kill millions of people at the same time. But you know, and all that being said, she can't even talk right now. She won't learn stocks, right? She won't learn investments. She won't learn. Why can't I talk? I had something else.
Yeah, alcohol is good. Alcohol is good.
Yeah. So by the way,
it's good.
This is not a sweet rum. So real quick, another plug. This is not super sweet. That's another thing. It's very light on the sweetness aspect. So it's not all those additives. Because I've been pouring, now I'm just drinking it straight. That's probably why I'm slurring a little bit. I'm not driving, so I'm okay. But the point being is that I believe you're right? Because if you've grown up in this environment where all the women from generations have been the leader of the household,
right,
and you've been indoctrinated with this Judeo-Christian faith, to hear the reality of the situation, it's extremely hard to process that and then accept that as the reality versus the reality that you've been taught to believe.
Right. The only thing that's going to change Black women, it's already starting to change them, is Black men leaving. Black men making a different choice. Okay, you want to cooperate? Okay, white man's not keeping me in this box anymore. I can date a Latina, Asian, white, or go overseas. Right?
Yeah.
Black when they're actually seeing that, oh hell, they're leaving. They're really leaving. So, you're not leaving, are you? Yeah, I'm leaving. Okay, you got to learn how to compete.
So let me ask this. And this is going, and I know this is a little random.
Go ahead.
Do you think that Black women get more upset if you cheat on her with a Black woman or a white woman?
Oh, white woman, all the way. Yeah, because white women are actually superior to them in their mind.
Shit.
Myth of white womanhood. Yeah, white woman is actually superior to them.
The only thing that I can think that could hurt more than your man cheating on you with a white man is your man cheating on you. With a white woman, is your man cheating on you with a white man?
I think they can accept the white man.
What the sound effect, Pastor? Come on, I know you coming.
I know. I was looking
at what the fuck?
BGS, they both slithered. It's just we stable.
I think they can actually accept the white man better.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I don't know about that one.
There's a disdain culturally from a white woman. That's the thing. Like people have to understand. It's
once
deep.
a black man switches over, you know, if he's gonna switch over, be fluid. It doesn't matter whether he's what color he is, okay, what the partner is.
Yeah, that's true.
But they're not gonna shame a black man with a white partner in public like they will with a black woman and with a white woman. They will actually stop in the middle of the street and chastise him.
Hey,
Damn.
I got in trouble in my past relationship. You know why?
Why?
Because a white woman was involved. And
was it because it was a white woman, or you were just sleeping with another woman? I don't know.
White woman magnified at times 1,000.
Yeah.
Okay,
You think it's the
so
game.
that's what it
Because
was.
what that did is it magnified the insecurity.
Yeah, because it's not like you say, oh, with the woman, when the emphasis is white, yada, 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 right? It's led with that every time. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's the sting, right? Because, look, we see it in freaking sports where it's a very, very small number. But for women, when they see it, because that's what media is pumping, they're looking at it like half of these athletes have a white woman, where it's in the mid 90% that these athletes still marry black and date black. Don't let the few white, Hispanic, Asian, you know, fool them. But that's what they see, and they think it's a higher number. But no, largely as a population, even in athletics, it's still predominantly black guys with black women. And that's why I don't like that narrative.
I always give Amari Minister an example, right? How much shame does Billy Porter have for being married to a white man? Zero. Okay.
Zero.
Versus Michael B. Jordan versus
they get lambasted all the fucking time.
Versus
Tay
Diggs. Tay Diggs, the guy that played Lawrence on Insecure, just got married to his.
Going.
Yeah. In other words, he had to turn off his comments and what they call Instagram.
But so in that same vein though, when you see a black man in who's in media in whatever aspect married to a black woman, they are praised.
Right,
like,
they are
praised highly for being. And then I don't remember who was looking at, but it was a black celebrity. He had a black wife, and all you saw was a flood of comments like, "Yeah, that's it, marry black." And I was like, "Damn!" Like, so if a person decides to marry a black man decides to date outside of his race, whatever gender that may be, it's damn near evil, right?
Yeah,
regardless of the fact that they love each other, they care about each other, they have a real relationship, they have family. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, so
go ahead. I'm sorry.
There's a popular YouTuber. I can't remember. She's a feminist. Let's see. Can I get to my description? Because I put her name in here. I watch her stuff. But she did a talk about black women and white women, and she said that she chooses to actually date black men. Because black women can't date out like that because they simply don't have the option. So my question is to you is, Lord, this drink is hit, because my question just flew left, but I'm gonna get it out. I'm gonna just talk until I get it right. So that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay,
I'm
go
just
ahead.
talking until I get it. So my question is, when we're talking about those dynamic of interracial dating,
right,
and black men and black women, do black women think that it's because they can't date out how black men do is the biggest issue, or do you really think they really don't like black men dating out?
Okay, it's two parts to it. The first part, the last part, I answer first. Black women think they own black men. Okay, it's an ownership thing. Okay, I run the house. I run the society. I can do what I want, but you can't do what you want because I own you. Okay. We have the wife role in this culture. Okay, we're there to support and serve and do what she says, what Big Mama says, right? Okay. The second part is that black women actually date out all the time. In fact, our estimated 15% of children are actually born mixed race that black women actually have. So all black children are actually born. 15% are actually from either Hispanic men or white men. So they date out all the time, but they can't marry out. That's the problem.
So it's basically what black men do, right? They'll sleep with them, get them pregnant, but nobody is married. What is
nobody marrying? Actually, black men actually have 800,000 more marriages than black women, even though we're 2.5 million less as far as the adult population. So we actually out-marry black women, even though we have a smaller population.
And don't forget 800,000 in prison too. So that makes it even worse.
Yeah. Well, that's even worse. But the thing is,
well, you're not taking prison marriages into account either. So
what I'm saying is, regardless of whether it's prison marriages, whatever it is, it should be worse, right? Black men actually out-marry black women, but black women have more children outside of wedlock by other races than black men. Like the stats I saw, black men actually fathered like 7.8 million children. Okay, black women had 8.4 million children. So they had like 1.2 million more children than black men sired, according to the stats.
Huh?
That's over a 5-year period. I'll send it to you. Actually, somebody actually wanted me to. I actually did a video on it called "Hidden Figures." I did actually point.
I like that.
I
like that. That's sweet. That's sweet.
Yeah. But I saw I actually send the document to you. You actually look at it. I actually highlighted for you because I actually looked. I said that doesn't make any sense. I said, how come black women have more children that they have than black men actually sire? Doesn't make sense. And then you actually go back and look. Hispanic, white have I think 300,000 children with black women, and I think Hispanics have like 600,000 children with black women.
Yeah. So at least from my perspective, I feel like in the black community, it's acceptable if your partner's like Hispanic, Latino, something like that, right? Because your kids come out with like nice eyes and good hair. That's the shit that we say.
Yeah.
I think there's like a level of acceptance there over like Hispanic.
Yeah.
But I think Caucasian is where you tend to find some of the challenges.
Right.
Like if you see a black woman with a white guy, there's this kind of stigma. I think so in general, when black people date Caucasian people, there tends to be some kind of stigma attached to that from whatever part within the
goes
black
back to
community.
slavery. Goes back to
Yeah.
slavery. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what happens is they still have those kids by those white men and still bring them back to the community. As
They
mixed.
do.
Most of the mixed kids come to the community are actually from liaison of black women and white men. In fact,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
My penis is picked. I'm not sure. That's a hashtag.
Yeah, that's LaShawn. Not what he's tagging. You got to ignore him. Okay.
Okay.
He's probably like three drinks in himself. So.
Okay. Hey, welcome to the club. All right, sir. We can begin to wrap this up because I know that Minister Amari is at his 2-hour mark. But before we go,
and he's 4 drinks in too. So
yeah.
Well, if you want to see, I've been sipping pretty well. So
okay, yeah.
So BGS Bishop,
yes, sir.
Where are you going after this?
I'm not going to be in anybody's stream, but the thing is, there's a video I actually want to make called "Why Does It Have to Be So Hard?" Right? In other words, I think what's happening with black men and black women is black men are actually getting tired. Okay, because dating black women should not be this hard. Being with a black woman should not be this hard.
What do you mean by that? I kind of get it, but what do you mean?
In other words, have you ever tried to get down to the truth with a black woman? It's like peeling an onion, one layer at a time, instead of cutting right through it. Hey, with a white woman, with a Latino, she pretty much goes right to the truth. Okay, this is harder. This is my life. This is who I am. Right? Boom. With a black one, there's always several stories. Right? It takes over a period of years, and so there's a problem there, but you can't figure out what it is because she won't tell you. That's because she's ashamed of what she is, right? What she's done in her past. She won't tell you, but still affects your relationship. That's what makes it hard.
BGS. I'm gonna sum it up in my terms. I'm gonna chime in so I can tell you firsthand. Let me tell you what, and it's to add on to what you're talking about. The thing is, before you can understand my pain, I gotta live through every single moment and trial you went through. Like we all ain't went through them. Like what are we talking about? It's the sob story. The sob story is it becomes a sob discussion to a sob. I'm telling you, no, it goes from discussion to a whole day to a lifestyle to a legacy. Like you can't leave a whole legacy of this is how I've been broken, all that. That's what we've been through culturally. So now it's like take a ticket and stand behind everybody else. Because one thing I learned is the emotions tend to dominate. But when we're talking about a logical guy, because even the most irate, very emotional, intense guy, he still is operating with logic as the essence of him. And when you get bombarded with a wave of emotion that is not substantiated with any resolution, insight, like BGS is saying, give me the insight to these emotions, then you can't come to a conclusion. So guys already tightening up, embracing like, this is not going to be good because everything you're spewing out doesn't lead or give me any indication of a conclusion in the near future. And so that's why I'm not dealing with this. That's how guys like to know, even if you give me the sob story, let me know a conclusion is coming. With black women sometimes it's so, and then out. I'm like, okay, are we getting somewhere? And when it doesn't come, we rather not deal with it.
I came up with it. Kevin Samuels actually used this. He actually added the insults to it. But thing that I came up with this thing, shame, guilt, need to be right. Okay. From Iyanla having a conversation with Iyanla Van Zant. The problem with black women, they're ashamed of their condition, right? They're guilty that they have to be in it. They cover it up with the need to be right. So you had to dig through all that just to get some kind of understanding of them, because they continually cover this shit up. You have mothers and grandmothers who will not tell you what their trauma was, because she's ashamed of it, and will carry that damn near to her grave. She'll tell somebody just before she died, you know what? My 5th kid was with my side dude, but I couldn't tell nobody.
You are so right.
Yeah.
And coming from a small town, that could be detrimental, right? Because I come from a small town. So if grandma was messing around and she didn't tell nobody, you could be messing with your cousin or your brother or something or something crazy. But
your uncle daddy.
Your uncle daddy. You could be messing with them. And they would never disclose what was really going on. Right. And you wouldn't know what was popping out.
Yeah. And black women or no black men, can they do it? Yes, but the thing is not. Men have a need to get that shit out. Hey, you know what? This happened to me. This is what happened to everybody else. I need to get this shit up and open so I can actually fix it. Black women will carry that shit to their grave. That's the problem.
Do you think
don't they see it vice versa?
To what vice versa?
That's what they tend to say. Us men are not emotional, and we hold that, and we won't express it. So isn't that typically the narrative?
But no, let me say that I don't think we express that to them.
Right.
I think we can express it to each other, like us, right?
Okay.
We can, you, myself, Pastor, we've all had deep conversations about relationships, but those are relationships we cannot have with some of the women in our life because they wouldn't be able to understand what we're saying.
Right.
Well, so let me ask you the last question, right?
Okay.
And I'm going blue pill on you all right now. Do you think that is it that they don't understand it themselves and you have to peel back those layers so that they could get a deeper understanding of what's going on? Because a lot of times it could be trauma that they're dealing with and not just shame. I get it from the physical. Right? If she went out and messed up. But how about something a lot more ingrained into the mental psyche of the woman?
Well, if she can't, if she can't tell you what the truth of it is, you can't even deal with that, right? Because there's something missing. There's something there, but the thing is you can't touch it because she won't open up with it. So if she's been molested by her father, okay, then unless you know the truth of it, you can't even deal with it. So how can you understand something that you don't know about?
So essentially what you're saying is a lot of what we would deal with are the symptoms.
The symptoms,
that problem. But we never really get a chance to get to the problem because they may not,
because they're ashamed of it. So they cover it up and then they deflect, say, you're the problem instead of me. You can't talk instead of me. If you actually talk to a black woman, she doesn't communicate. She actually emotes, okay, for the most part. She don't communicate. Say, hey, what's the problem? She'll give you all this story and all this other stuff, deflect all the kind of stuff, right? She emotes. She doesn't actually communicate. But that's
goes into bits of rage, in rage, sorrow, sadness.
Yeah,
it's a cycle. That's what he means.
Right. It's a cycle. Or she'll agree to go right and she'll go left.
Yeah,
she won't admit that I never wanted to do it in the first place. So there's a lot of things.
Let me add this, BGS.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say 2 words: security clearance. You know how you go apply for these jobs? Yes, that's right, Amari. You listen up carefully. So you know how you apply for these jobs, and you know they some of them will ask you what's your clearance level, right? Can you be approved for this and that?
Yeah.
And the reason I bring it up is when a black woman wants to convey this, she doesn't know she will have the level of security she is seeking by giving it. Like what's your clearance level? Can I trust you with this level of information? Right. And a lot of them in their mind, they've already eliminated you. So it's like, you don't have the security clearance for me to divulge this classified information for you, right? So that's a lack of trust. And when you don't have that, it's hard to move forward in any relationship, whether it's business or whether it's personal, when there's a level of mistrust or there's a tightness in terms of, let me divulge the details of this here. So us guys, right, especially if they think you're a knucklehead or you blab a lot, you just a hood guy and all of that, so they don't trust your clearance level. So there's, like you said, they will die and take this to the grave because they haven't gotten to the place where they feel anybody outside of maybe a close female friend or two has a security clearance for this information that I can give them.
But you know what, and maybe you guys can actually agree with this. What I've seen is a grandmother will tell that to her granddaughter. She won't tell her husband, she won't tell her children, she actually tell it to her granddaughter before she goes. Whatever reason, I've seen that more than a few times. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Wow.
It's
they'll
essentially
give it to someone with innocence that can't judge it.
I don't even know what it's for, but go ahead.
I don't know. I feel like it's passing the burden of that trauma to another generation.
Okay.
Right. Like you've held this burden all along. So what I wanted to say before I even get into that shit was that I don't think a lot of them know even how, to BG's point, the Bishop BG point is how to express that, right? How do you express something that for you is so detrimental or so embarrassing or so shameful?
Right.
I can express that. But what I will do is I will make you pay for that the entire duration that I am with you. BG, obviously your previous marriage. So, right, like don't worry, you divorced now. That's perfectly fine. We can say this shit.
It's okay.
And not like she watches the show to get angry at you on purpose. So the point being is that there are certain things that cannot be expressed, but then it comes out in bitterness, in rage, in vengefulness, or in ways of, well, I don't trust you. I got to watch you because this thing happened to me a long time ago. And that is now a guiding principle of my life, even though I'm not even aware of it.
Right.
So you all don't think men go through the same thing?
I think we do, but I think when you find a group of men like us, right? Think about the men who, like right now, we have a fuck boy in our group, maybe one or two. I won't say that he's been on the show. I won't say that BGS called him out. I won't say that he's no longer coming on the show. But the point being is that we know he's a fuck boy, right? And we hold him accountable to that, whether he likes it or not.
He got offended, man. I was stunned. I said I didn't mean to hurt his feelings.
I don't know why he got offended. I'm like, look, we all support you in your fuckboyery, right? Like, if anything, we want to make sure that you are the best fuckboy imaginable. Take hints from Drake. Put hot sauce on a condom. Right? Like, we're here to support
y'all
you.
acting like this man worked for the FBI, F-Boy International. Y'all better stop.
He sure as fuck did. Just check his Instagram page.
Oh,
I got incense everywhere. I got crystals all over the place taking care of me. Fucking left
man,
and
let's
right.
stay in tune, man. Y'all stop.
We are
that.
in
We will not
tune.
do
We
that.
are very much in tune.
He has to be here to defend himself. We're not going to do that.
He just had to go there. Why did you go there?
That's the life. Your question is
not.
like, us guys, to a degree, do we deal with it, right? Yes. You know what's crazy though? Like, guys will say the craziest thing to another guy, like with homies. Like, sometimes I'm like a homie, like, yeah, man, I went raw dog, man. I had them crabs. I had to put peanut butter on it. You like, what? You know what I'm saying? But it's like, it sounds crazy, and we laugh about it. But that's the level of it's camaraderie, guy stuff, right?
Yeah.
But if it's another level, it's like, hold on, because it depends what kind of trauma. Guys have classifications, right? We compartmentalize that stuff. A guy will tell you, oh, if he made a mistake sexually, he did this. I ain't pull out. I ain't do this. Oh, I messed up.
Yeah.
But then the closure comes with anything that means I'm less than a man. That's when it's hard to get it out. a guy's not as easy to tell you he got molested, right? That goes back to the trust and all of that. He'll tell you all the ratchet stuff, like, yeah, I went raw dog. Oh, I got these, that kid might be mine. I ain't never confirmed, but I'm an uncle daddy. I pretend to be the daddy, but she said I'm the uncle, so I go with it, all that stuff. But when it's the sensitive things, that's when we become reserved. But the thing is, when you sit that guy down and one guy's vulnerable out the two, you get the vulnerability from next guy. I think it's hard when you change sex. It's for some reason when it's woman to male and you're talking about black and a black man, a black woman, where the vulnerability may be there, but it tends to seem like it's convenient at times, right? And the thing is, you can't wait on somebody's convenience when it comes to being vulnerable, right? Because sometimes it's never going to be convenient. You just got to get it out. And I think that's the hardest thing, like as y'all reference all in this discussion, what happened if perfect time never comes out? It shouldn't be as BGS reference. Now that I'm dying, I'm going to give it to my granddaughter because it's like I had to get it out before I go. That's convenient for you because you dying. But it's come on, you had all this other time.
That's probably how it happened.
Damage. Yeah. Go ahead.
But I'm saying, like, it's probably what they experienced themselves, right? Grandma probably told them, or great-great-grandma probably told them the same thing, right? It's almost so. There's a story that I heard a long time ago, real quick. It was about a little girl who asked her mom why they cut the ends off the ham, and then that mom said, well, my grandmother did it, right? So they asked the grandma why she did it. Her mother did it, and so they get to the great-great-grandmother, whatever fucking age, and she just basically said because the pan was too small, right? So what became a tradition out of necessity became like a spiritual thing for the family of why we do this shit, and it's like y'all were just poor, didn't have enough pans. That was it. So it's like some things are traditional.
They just follow what they saw, and women do that a lot. They don't think logically. They just follow. Oh, I did it because it's what I saw. So I can't talk this truth because my mother, my grandmother said I couldn't do it. So I'm just doing what they did. And in fact, a lot of white men actually do that.
You are definitely right, because black people automatically, when you graduate high school, the first thing you got to do is go get your voter registration and become a Democrat.
Yes.
And ever since I saw that, because
he's right. He's right.
I know it's true, but I was waiting for it. Go ahead.
I come from the only majority black county in Florida, which is like the third poorest, right? So that's fitting, right?
It's working. Democracy is working.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking just like, if we still poor and we've been voting Democrat all this time, why are we still voting Democrat?
Right.
Like, that was the first thing that I questioned. I'm like, I might put in the ticket, but I'm not going to mark it down as Democrat. I'm going to go independent. It wasn't independent back then. It was some weird stuff. But that always threw me off. And they're like, no, you're supposed to go sign up as a Democrat. Like, every person that passed by me, mainly women, some men said, man, I don't vote. What's the point of vote? Look at us. That's what men say.
When I was younger and Bill Clinton was in office and Monica Lewinsky came out, the pastor of my church, a predominantly black church, basically said what goes on in that marriage is none of our business. And I was like, but isn't marriage sacred? All that shit, right? But it didn't matter because he was a Democrat. And that's all that mattered, was that we were black and we voted Democrat. That was the pastor of my church, who, by the way, was later outed for cheating on his wife with another woman who was at the church. Which is probably why he said that marriage was sacred and needed to be.
So par for the course.
Probably. They were all Democrats.
Par for the course.
We struggling streamers out here.
We struggling streamers.
While he's reading Pastor, we struggling out here. We struggling streamers. Can y'all give us some likes? I don't see him out
here.
We
are struggle streaming all over the internet. And if BGS read that, I'm going to go ahead and hit this button.
Okay.
Struggle streaming all over the internets.
Okay. As always, I support all my struggle streamers, right? So if you're in here, you're from my crew, hit the like button, get them up to 50 likes, and if you can, subscribe to the channel. They give out, they crazy like this, so we're gonna hear some kind of shit that's gonna go on entertaining. Because if nothing, they're entertaining. Okay, when these three guys get together, they're actually entertaining. So hit the subscribe, hit the like. If you feel so inclined, hit the Cash App and actually donate to the cause. So that's
not to be studious. It's enough of y'all for that. I'm not gonna be studious. I ain't got time for that. I did that already. Y'all got it. I did that twice over. Y'all got it.
We don't have quite the crowd that we had last time. I think we had over 100 last time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 300.
Over 300.
You brought 300.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yes.
All right.
You brought the crew.
All right. So we can ready. So before we close things out, this is what we're going to do. We're going to run the end credits, and then we're going to come back and do a brief recap in the BGS. If you can stay for the brief recap, that usually lasts about 3 minutes. Okay. So let's go ahead and take communion, because I know Minister Mari is probably already there. And if you got your glasses up, let's take communion for our men. To being a man is good all the time, and all the time being a man is good. And we are out.
Thanks for watching Mansplanations Network, where we struggle streaming all over the YouTubes. And good night, bitches.
All right.
You're crazy.
You're crazy. I like the ending. I like it.
I'm just leaving it at that. It's wonderful.
Wait till you see the new intro. I thought I put the words in there, but that was the one. So the new intro is going to be real crazy because I got
you didn't do the intro tonight. It was the new intro tonight.
No, I had to put it together because I had a real DJ say some words, and I just mixed it all in, but I put up the wrong one. So next week we'll have it ready to go. Yeah, just so we building things out. So BG, give everybody a rundown of what's going on before we jump into it.
So, for everybody who's still on, this is the after hours. It's the backstage pass. Eventually we'll have the banner up and we'll get you into some exclusive content. We may even have some bonus questions in the future. But what we do here is we go over the show. Look, we're human. We're not robots. We're not perfect. We always ask y'all what we could have done better. We talk to ourselves and ask ourselves what we could have done better. We talk about the flow of the show, the content, what you would like to see in the future. So that's what we do. We just is an all access invite. You get to experience what we do, after the show as we recap. So that's what we got going on.
All right, so let's kick it to BGS, sir. Thank you for coming out and joining us for tonight's show. You being a senior in YouTube, we really appreciate your input on how we doing things because we're trying to do things a little bit different than most people. So let's just put that precursor out there. We actually want to do we're trying to do a variety show and keep it kind of centered, and then jump to the comments somewhere in the end, bring on one person and send them on. So more like a radio show / late night TV is what we going for. So if you could give us any input of what you saw, what you think we can do better, what we're doing well, we would greatly appreciate that, sir.
I think what you have to find your audience, right? You guys are actually on key. You're actually doing what everybody else does. You're actually doing it right there. Only thing I would actually add is basically in the middle to do a reaction to videos as a standalone show. Because they say engagement, live stream is actually good for engagement, right? But it actually builds your audience from a standalone pre-recorded. That's where your subs actually come from. Engagement comes from live, but actually pre-recorded is actually what people look for, like 20 minutes or something like that. That's targeted. That's the only thing I probably would change. Well, that would actually build subs.
Well, the reason why I do that because I can't get them to do that, so I run it during the show and try to cut it up and put it out.
Okay.
Well, you can't get us to do what?
Where we
he wants you to do your standalone
pre-recorded, or take a segment from your live and just do one topic, right? Do one topic and then cut that and put it out as a standalone.
Yeah,
where it's
that's what
concentrated.
I do now.
Yeah, he does do that. It's the drink segment and the cologne segment is that we don't have as a standalone because he's saying outside of this show, Amari won't do that for some reason.
Well, he can do it on the show. Just give him like 10 or 15 minutes because he's actually an expert at what he does, right? Give him like 15 minutes uninterrupted and let him do it and then cut it out.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
Well, see, so he said uninterrupted. So today was full of interruptions. Just want to put that out.
Yeah, but BGS wasn't privy to how we run that segment with you. You know, when we're just quiet and talking. But
I wasn't privy to today because shit. I was like, well, how you gonna do a cologne review and we ain't giving interrupt him? Anyway, go ahead, continue. See how that felt? See how that felt? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, BG, what you think of this?
Our bad BGS for not telling you about that when he does the cologne segment that we're all silent so he can, be bougie.
He was silent. It was y'all that was talking.
No, I was no. He was giving you compliments. You remember I talked about it when I had
no.
The
He
drink
talking about
segment.
me. He talking about me when I told him that his mouth was cut off and all the other stuff. And I kept coming back.
But that's because you had to fix it though, and your words in the mouth and all of that. Yeah, but look, BGS did hype you up real smooth though. He had you feeling good. You know what I'm saying? When y'all were talking about sage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you felt great then. He too bougie. Don't hype him up, BGS, no more. Because he don't need no help.
First of all,
people like that don't need no help.
Let me explain something. I have to tell people this. My ego is like the universe. It is ever expanding. No one can add to that. All right? It expands into
what the fuck?
So I don't need.
You need to shut the fuck up.
Oh,
Man, we got new buttons for that. You got new. I'm glad you broke it out for that one. Let's cut him short. Yeah, let's cut him shorter than his height because he's the shortest friend I have. At 5'2" and a quarter, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, every time I walk by him, I elbow him on accident. I elbow him on accident every time I walk by him. I'm like, gosh, dog, I gotta hold my hands up when I walk by him.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All right,
no, but Pastor, the flow was good. Look, I would say this with somebody who is astute as BGS and he has the swag, the OG, right? He's gonna come with insight. I think when we have him on the show, because BGS is gonna do his thing. We have to be balanced and kicking the questions to one another. Because he's gonna flow anyway, and he's an OG, so he's really seeing what we want to do. Because BGS, if we give him 10 questions, bro, he's gonna answer them because that's what he does. Right. Like he's a scholar. Right. But at the same time, if we want to keep us engaged, we have to do the bounce back, play off each other, and pull him in. Because he's feeding off of us. Because he's like, look, I've been on here enough times. He respects the show. It's not like we doing an interview and exclusively him. So we have to keep the energy balance, kicking it to each other. Because we bombarded him with questions, and he has no problem with that. He's used to that. But for the flow of the show, I would think a learning curve would be us just doing better of making it more inclusive.
I think you will. I think some of that is just doing enough shows. Okay, as you actually start doing enough shows, you actually get used to actually flowing in a certain way. It comes with experience, just like anything else. As long as you do the job, you actually get better at it. So go ahead.
So, BGS, let me ask you a question. You've been doing this for a while. When did you start seeing an uptick in consistent subscribers and interactions? 1 year, 2 year, 3 years?
I say really probably the third year. Okay.
I was about to say that's what the statistics say about the year
about the third year. You actually find your audience, find your groove, as they say. About the third year.
Okay.
How many shows? How many videos you putting up a week? If you say that third year, how many volume-wise do you think you're doing?
Okay, third year I was putting up maybe 4 or 5 a week, maybe 4 a week.
All right.
And then what I do is I actually started doing this because I didn't like what people were doing. I actually started doing live streams for my subs. Right, I put up like maybe 4 standalones, and then on I think it was Saturday I would actually do a live stream and said anybody can come up and actually talk as a thank you to the subs.
Yeah,
that's what it turned out to those 8-hour streams where people just keep coming up and up and up and up and just talk about anything. So
all right. So my next question is like, when do you go live? Because I always try to catch you, but I can never catch you to come on. The one time that I did catch you, the subject was not in my realm. And I didn't want to come up and make myself look stupid. So I'm always step back from that.
like the one show I actually am on regularly live is actually the Art of Ibmore's Coliseum on Saturdays. I'm there regularly. I had a lot of problems. That's why I don't do my regular old Coliseum. Used to do that like for the women on Friday and the guys on Saturday. But I got a lot of doctors come in, so I kind of took all that stuff. I actually stopped doing it because I had a lot of enemies that wanted to actually come in and actually kind of disrupt things. So I stopped doing it as much.
Wow.
So I may go back to doing it regularly because people have been asking for it, but that's an ongoing thing. So now it's like random when I actually feel like it. So it's not a regular.
CGS.
Yeah. Yes.
Pastor, let me get this question in for him. Typically, the way this space works, you see a lot of individuals. What dynamic do you think it adds when you have a set panel where like it's going to be us three and then whoever else comes? Like, is that a good benefit to us? Like, how do you think that works when I'm seeing so many individuals in this space?
Well, the thing is, if you look at the LaPeef, right, the LaPeef network, right, they have a whole bunch of individuals, right, that come up as a set crew, and they do very well. The thing is that you have to find your audience and your flow, okay, and that's what you have. And you have to look at your comments and see what people like and what they didn't like, and kind of adjust a little bit.
I be looking for the comments. I'm always in the comments. Let me ask you this: how do you drive comments to your videos? Because literally, I could post something and get 200-300 views, but yet it only be like one comment. So I go out there and ask questions, your thoughts or something like that.
The thing is, you have to find something that strikes a chord with people, something they never thought of, or something that they live but nobody ever expressed, and that's normally when you get a lot of comments. And
should
normally,
we pin questions? We don't pin them on our things.
Normally I pin questions when it's kind of universal, like I used to get women in who actually want to argue. No guys that actually want to talk to them, so I actually pin their comment. Okay, and then you get like 300 or 400 people come and argue with her. That's the only one I actually pin comments. When it's actually universal to a whole bunch of people, or I actually want to highlight something that's actually in the video or a person. Other than that, I don't actually like pinning comments. But the thing is, you have to find out what works for you and try to appeal to your audience that actually rocks with what you're doing. But comments actually come from something that actually you felt or something that you experienced, and you really feel that. When you feel that passion, that's normally when comments will actually generate. Because people actually will feel the same thing and said, okay, I felt that, I experienced that, I've heard that, my mother, my father, whatever, went through the same thing. That's when it kind of get a kind of more universal appeal. Like when you really feel something, right? That's when you should do a show. And that's what you should do the show on, because there's a reason that the creator says, okay, you feel this because this needs to be said right now. And those are kind of normally my best shows or my best broadcasts. When the creator says, okay, you need to say this right now because you're feeling it, and it comes across in your broadcast. Does that make sense?
What is up with your boy LaShawn?
He's mad. He's mad because, like, LaShawn says a whole bunch of stuff, right, that doesn't make sense, right, in his comments.
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure it out.
And it makes sense to him, but I was making a joke, okay, because I know you're reading his comments, and it doesn't make logical sense what he's typing. So I said maybe he's like 2 or 3 drinks in, because we're drinking, and it's a joke, but he didn't take it as a joke. He took offense to it. That's what's happening with him.
So now we are right with him.
And now he's trying to shame me because I said that. And I was joking. Because we're reading your comments, man. Everybody's trying to decipher what you're saying because they don't make sense. So I'm making
each one is missing a word or 2 or 3.
Yeah, because I know you, they don't know you. So I'm making a joke to make light of it, because he highlighted your sentences. This shit doesn't make sense, right? So maybe he's drinking. That's why it doesn't make sense. So it's actually a way to actually take more pressure off of you. But the thing is, you're making an ass out of yourself right now.
Yeah, because you come over here, usually we're a clown, but since you was BGS boy, we didn't actually go in. Amari did light up.
Yeah,
Amari had to look like he was about to go there.
Yeah. So basically, I was trying to take pressure off of you, but the thing is, you want to take offense. I can't help you, man. I said, your comments are your comments, okay? I said, I was trying to help you, but the thing is, now you expose yourself. Okay, I'm not drinking. That's you. I know that's you. But I was trying to make light of it so that you wouldn't get embarrassed in front of another group of people. But that's okay.
Because I have 2 fools on my side.
Pastor, one moment. So once again, everybody was still on. This is the after show. This is like you welcome. This ain't the boom boom room. You know, we don't have dollars coming raining behind us. We don't have nobody twerking. But this is the after show. We having a good time. We giving people insight to how the work and effort we put in to bring a great show to y'all, because it takes a lot of work from the lighting to the conversation to the microphones and everything. And so we just letting you know, you just don't come on. It's intimidating. You putting yourself in front of strangers, and you know, hey, you got some of us on this cast booed up, and you got to answer to people. It's like, baby, did you really say that? So all of that. So now with that being said, BGS, I got to ask this question.
Yes, sir.
We just some regular guys. You got Pastor Life for Florida boy. You got Amari, who's I guess he wants to be an elitist. I don't know what he wants to be right
you're doing a pretty good job.
First of all,
Yeah,
not I guess I am.
You're doing a great job.
You know, look,
I have the
look,
income of an elitist.
See, I just wanted to get that out of here.
First of all, my CPA already told me I was in the top 1%. I may be in the lower half of the top 1%, but I'm still in the 1%.
You're in the club.
Yeah, you scraping. You knocking on the door. You ain't in the VIP section, but you in the club.
No,
I get
I'm
that.
in the club.
So,
Yeah, I can still get through. I may not be able to get to the back room, but I'm in the back room.
But you get past the rope, huh?
Yes.
yeah, crazy. And look, and you got me, I'm reckless. All that said, BJS, we're new to the space. You know, you got people who always hollering at you, yo, I got to get BGS, I'm this and that. They got all these subs. Question, why rock with us? These so-called misfits in this space of the blue, red, purple, black, white pills, whatever you want to call it. Why rock with us?
Because I've been where you guys are, okay, struggling, okay. I like you guys because you guys are fun and you guys are actually very kind to me. So why wouldn't I?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Y'all hear that? All y'all got to do is stop trolling and beefing with him. You heard that? He used the cue. When a man puts out the word kind,
yes,
that means a lot. I guess because see, men don't hear word like that. You can say all the he fun, he swagged out, they rock with me. But when you talking about kind, see, a mature man is going to use that word, right? And you can't look at him like you saw. That's a term of endearment. And I think culturally, that's a problem we have when those words get tossed out. It's like, we don't want to hear that. Like, then what else you want to hear? All right, you sucker and simp, since that's what you want to hear. Like, what the heck do you want to hear?
But I also say something too. Is like, I think that because so many of us grew up with a black matriarch as the head of the family,
right?
When you have someone like BGS come on as a man, spitting knowledge that is contrary to what you've been taught, it takes a certain type of person to level up and be able to receive that. Like the first time BGS came on, you actually corrected me on something, which is rare.
Okay.
And I started listening and I was like, shit. All right. And like when you and the other bishop we had on, Ricky,
okay,
I loved it because I got to see two elders in the black community come at some different topics from different areas of expertise and not agree. And for me as a black man, that's something that I've been missing, right? To see two black male elders spitting knowledge, agreeing or disagreeing, because I get to absorb that and I get to become better from that. From a perspective that was I'm be honest, that was robbed from my childhood, right?
Okay.
I didn't get to see that growing up because I saw church guys, but I'm like, you outside smoking a cigarette and then you coming and preaching. That don't make no sense, right? How your body a temple and you fucking it up. Anyway, point being is this, right? It's like I am to have people like yourself on and Bishop Ricky on, like that is, I think, what black men need to have are the elders who've been through it, who've been through all of that and spit knowledge to you about the reality of life, right? Taking away all the bullshit, all the fluff. Here is the medicine you need. It don't taste good, but it's what you need. And that's what I think. And that's why when you come on, I'm elated because I don't get that shit. I'm always the smartest person on this panel, right? So when you come on, it's a relief for me. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right.
All right. So
let me tell you what I learned in the South. Hold on, Pastor Life. A lie don't care who tell it. That's one thing. So I'm gonna start with that. A lie don't care who tell it. And I'm gonna make it real plain for you. The devil is a liar and the truth ain't in you. So you do the math, Amari. That's all I'm saying. So
first of all, the devil had it right. I don't know what you're talking about. All right. He realized that God was full of shit, decided to make his own kingdom. Think about that. How bad do you have to be to go and make your own kingdom? All right. Well, we look down on the man. If anything, I look up to him. I'm short, so that's mostly. But anyway, it don't matter.
Actually, the devil tells you the truth, right?
He does.
And
he does.
But the thing is, you have to make that choice. He don't lie to you. He knows what you want. That's the problem. I know you want this.
There is a whole book about how big of a dick God is, and it's called Job. All right, look at it.
Yeah.
He's I'm gonna fuck with you in every which way, and then when you get angry at me, I'm gonna tell you you're wrong. Who does that sound like? Black women. Anyway, I'm not.
That sound like you too. I don't know.
Talking about.
I'm trying to tell you. He is about as high as a serpent.
All right, BGS. Let me give you my personal testimony for when we first had you on, because I want to tell you this.
Okay.
So when we first had you on those first 2 or 3 shows, it was pandemonium and chaos around my family and my house.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was. Yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh
I'm
yes.
sorry.
Oh,
I'm
yes.
sorry to hear it.
No. It was a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people, but it brought in some conversations that need to be had, and some people accepted it, and it actually turned out to be for good. And now I can personally say my sister said that she can watch you and understand where you're coming from, and she now understands the plight of what's going on. But at first, with us being so much inside a gynocentric society and what's been told to women, it was very tough across the board. My wife, not so much. My wife was good. It was everybody else, because my wife was like, well, he kind of telling the truth. We want to keep it moving. All right, what I need to do. And that's what she said, right? But everybody else, it was a tough thing to navigate those waters. BG know, because we used to have those conversations like, yeah, man, I'm going through it right now. I got to try to figure out how to smooth this over. But thank you for that, because it helped us as well. It helped me as a man at the same time to become better at the same time when we had you on to actually start having these conversations, because it was stuff that I internally knew but did not know how to communicate.
Okay.
And when I heard you speak, I was like, yeah, I've been feeling this, but I couldn't quite get it out. And he said exactly what I was thinking or what I saw, but it was just it was a very well communicated thought that came along with it, versus how we as black men communicate is usually through our fists and anger,
right,
or rage. And I want to definitely thank you for that. And last question for me, and I'll let them ask their last question, because let's get back to the show. We don't consider ourselves to be full-blown red pill. We more like a hybrid. That's what we call ourselves. We trying to have fun, talk, get the conversation out there, let women know. You're like, yeah, it's not what you think.
Making the deal.
The deal. How can we do better at advancing that narrative? Because I know you talk to everybody.
The thing is, like I said, you got to find your audience. You got to find a way to communicate to them, and that's individual. Okay, to every show, every person, right? You got to find it yourself. I can actually give you hints, but the thing is, you got to find it yourself, because you guys, the way I sound, my approach is different from everybody else's, right? I'm unique. You guys are unique. How do you bring your talent and skills to the audience? That's why it takes a certain amount of time. How to communicate to your audience. So it's going to take time. It's just doing it. You'll figure it out. You guys are always better than when we first started. We've already improved. Just got to keep it up. The thing is, keep working. That's what most people don't understand about YouTube. It's a grind. It's not a moonshot. It's a grind. It's a daily grind, actually getting better and better and better every day. That's what YouTube is.
Thank you for saying that, because I've been saying that for the last year.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
that is why we are doing this show every Thursday. Come hell or high water.
Time out. When people throw those digs, now you got me getting on the pastor.
What happened?
First off, with kids and all, I ain't missing those shows and all my duties. I've navigated. I've been with boogers in my nose on a cell phone doing shows. So look, he ain't gonna do that to us. I understand the grind, because my life has been more of a grind than theirs, if people want to tell the story. So I understand the grind for a whole nother level. They've catapulted me, but due to the American system, and right now I did put in the application for clemency. If any lawyers out there, I know homies is lawyers. I'm just throwing this out there. Y'all can help me. I'm waiting to go before this board in some months to get this stuff situated. He's laughing about it because it fulfills Amari's narrative. But the thing is, I know I'm astute, right? I know I'm educated. I know I'm suave. I got the swag. But the system say you got to stay down here with the rest of these JoJo's and Pookies and Ray Rays. No, we're not doing that. But BGS, this is what I'm going to say. Look, this is how I know we're growing. people knew you in this space. I remember like we didn't have we had comments on certain shows and they were beef with us, right? Because it's like, y'all interrupting the great master BGS, the philosopher. I'm like, well, dang. And look, you from a Gemini aspect, you get this. There's two different types of interruption, right?
Yeah.
And you got interruption where it's like, I'm trying to point you back to what I got going on and I'm the man. Then you got a banter and it's a playfulness.
Right.
And you and I think because we're new to the space, people are learning us. So they're like, that guy in the top right, he be interrupting me. I was like, look, I think BGS gets, and that's what I had to train myself. It's like you said with the trolls and the beef, to understand that it's a different dynamic when you're actually doing the show and in the comments. So people don't understand what's happening in the back chat, the private comments, and all of that. And there's a fluidness. And so that's one thing I would say I had to learn and be improve in, learning that when you do have somebody who's been in the space and doing it, yes, we do fall back to you. But then what you're wanting is you can go on a million shows and be BGS.
Right.
But your thing is you want what we have to bring it to the show, so it's not just a BGS takeover. And that's the thing I didn't learn until you kept coming on, and I saw your encouragement. Like, hey, you kept saying like by the second, third time, it's like y'all, whatever you want to say, y'all shows what's next. Because people won't do that; they'll just take over. Because we had a certain individual we invited. I'm not going to name him, and he went bonkers. When I say he went bonkers.
Oh, I know you're talking about.
What?
Yeah,
he went bonkers.
Yes, he went bonkers. And I respect you for that, because what you're saying is, yes, I'm an OG. Yes, I have the subscribers. But if y'all going to find y'all space, y'all have to know how to navigate around other people who might be influencers already. And I thank you for that. So that's my quick spill on that.
Very last question of the night for me. What is the beef between the red pill, black pill, and the game coaches? Because I sent you a email, a text. And you remember what it was about?
Oh yeah.
And one of the guys that we brought on was a game coach.
Right.
And I didn't know that there was, because just like I said, we go out here and we do our thing, and I go to your page and a few more, but I'm not really deep into what's going on, like all those Lucarios and all those other type of stuff. What is the main beef?
There's classes to game, right? There's classes to game, right? And that particular guy is low level game, like hood game, right? Street game, which is I call project game, county game, street game, right? Red cup out in front of the liquor store game, right? You have somebody like Amare who has upper level game, more bougie, more sophisticated, right? Amare spits game, just not the kind of game that most guys are actually used to, okay? And so there's classes to it. I don't fit into that class of, number one, I don't teach game, okay? I don't even, you ask me a question, I will answer it. But the thing is, I don't spit game, I don't teach game. That's the best game coach I've ever seen on this level is actually cousin Tita. She's actually a stripper. He nailed like maybe 15,000 women. So he actually hosts shows, strip shows for women. He knows them inside and out, right? Best game coach you probably can have that's not popular on YouTube, right? You have lower level game like the brother was just on, okay? That for your class of women, the kind of game that you spit is fine, okay? So red pill for you, and the game that you spit, which game is part of red pill. Don't get it twisted. Pick up artists or the original red pillars. You spitting game is red pill, but there's a class element to it. So what I'm talking about may not fit your class. The way I speak may not fit your class, okay? And that's the problem that we're having.
So is it they have a problem with MGTOW then? Is that what it is?
They misunderstand MGTOW because the way they're socialized, they're actually socialized to actually get the approval of black women, okay? MGTOW is basically a white oriented anti-misogynistic crowd, right? They come from the men's rights movement. So there's like 4 levels of MGTOW. They think that all MGTOWs are the incels or monks. Incels are not part of MGTOW. They're actually blue pill. What people don't really realize, most incels are actually blue pill. They're failed blue pillars. But the thing is, they have an idea of what black women have said about MGTOWs, that they don't get no pussy, they're incels, they don't got no game to get women. A lot of MGTOWs were actually formerly married or have girlfriends, or like Coach Greg Adams, spin plates. So Coach Greg Adams is actually a MGTOW, third level MGTOW, spinning plates, no serious relationships, right? You have guys that have long-term relationships but never get married or never cohabitate. That's second level MGTOW. Okay, Monk is the last one, which is that you old guy like me, you had baby mamas, you had girlfriends, you lived or been close to marrying 2 or 3 chicks, you just get tired of the shit, right? I mean, I'm out. Okay, I've been through enough. I got kids, I got grandkids. I still got to manage women. I don't need to be tied up into this relationship game anymore. They don't understand that because that's foreign to them. But that's a different level of game that they don't understand. It's all game. Okay. The thing is, at his level, he can't see it because it's street level. That's why certain game guys don't like me or like what we spit. Is because they don't understand it. But if you go to more sophisticated game people like Ron Wills, Cousin Tito, and a few others, they get it because they're at that level where you have to use different kind of tactics and mindsets. That's where it comes from.
Game.
It's all intellectual, depending on what class that you're in. If you dealing with ratchet chicks, or you're dealing with low level chicks, there's a certain kind of game that you got to spit to them to get them across. But you can't go spit that game to some chick that comes out of Ivy League, okay? And she's got a feminist mindset and she's working corporate. You spit that game, she's going, hey, you need to try to clean up your language to go someplace else because I don't even like you, okay? So there's a different level of game that you have to spit. There's a different way you have to do it. You got to look right. You got to smell right. You got to wear like Pastor can tell you, got to wear the uniform, right? What you wear, how you smell, how you present yourself,
how you walk.
Yeah. What kind of word? What kind of
change things?
The lexicon that you use, okay, is different for each class of women, okay. So you have to
don't even talk about lexicon because I can't go back to the. I can't go back.
Yeah.
Like, there's a certain woman that I can't.
Yeah.
My wife left me. I cannot get at this point in time.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, but that's the problem, and a lot of guys take issue with it because, like I said, he gets mad at me, but said, "Look, Negro, I'm a poor kid that went to bus to a white school. Okay, that's why I speak this way." But I know thousands of guys like you because I had to walk past them on the way to school, right, with a red cup in front of the liquor store, talking the same game. He hates that, but I understand. I actually one time I actually mocked him. Okay, he started talking. I started word for word mocking him. Same kind of verbiage, same kind of sentiment. He didn't like that. He actually bounced because I did that. Okay, so I said I live in the hood. I'm from the hood, man, so I can mock you if I want to, but I choose not to.
Which is a shame, right? Because I get it, because I come from that. So I've actually went on this show and we kicked it up, and I talked to his men that came on and just gave them real life game. I'm just like, stop trying to chase women and chase vision and purpose, and everything else will follow. And that was the main thing. But he wasn't the only one. The other guy that we had on came on and tried to mock you as well. And that's where I kind of got a glimpse at it last year when we brought somebody like that on. So we kind of stayed away from the guy that's in the game until we got better at what we do in controlling things, because we don't want to make this a place where people come and try to mock other people. We want to have a conversation about what you do, what you talk, and what you say, and we give our pros and our cons, and we keep it moving. But we try to be a hybrid and not just like, let's not throw shade, because there's no reason to throw shade when we're all in a small pond trying to advance a narrative. There's no reason. So
if you disagree, you disagree. Okay. If you can prove me wrong, prove me wrong. I have no problem with that. Okay. Other than that, if you don't like me, you don't like me. It's okay.
Yeah, you go do your thing, you stay in your lane, and we stay in ours. Yeah. We don't have a problem with that. We can cross-merge and have a conversation, but no need to throw shade, because black men voices have been silenced for too long for us to try to silence each other's voice. I think that's one of the most asinine and dumbest things that we could do as people. I truly believe that more voices out there, even with the bad ones, is going to probably push something.
Like Cousin T-Tar, right? He actually hosts male stripper parties, right? Okay, where he actually have women in, right? Knows a ton of game, right? He has 150 IQ. So you have a conversation with him is a completely different conversation. You would never know that you're actually talking to a stripper.
So is he the white guy?
No, he's black. Oh, he's black. Cousin T-Tar.
Cousin T-Tar, right?
Yeah.
All right. So last questions, anyone, before we close out for the night?
Yeah, you can look up Cousin T-Tar. He actually wrote a couple of books, and he calls it upper level game. That's what he calls it. Inside game.
All right, BGS, we had 46 likes and we had 105 subscribers. I think we had 2. If you can try to encourage the people again to subscribe, we would greatly appreciate that.
You know what? I think get the likes. Get the likes to 50. I may cut out a segment of this and actually host it on my show to give you guys a little bit more.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, likes, people.
Yeah. But it just takes time, man. So anytime you guys want me to come on, I'm happy to. So just drop me a note because I get a lot of demand for my time all the time. So, but I actually cut out time for you guys because I like you guys.
We thank you, man.
Thank you. Yeah.
We try to make it fun and entertaining while you're here.
Because last week I had one scheduled, right? Dr. Thunder, right after you guys, right?
I jumped on that. I watched 45 minutes of that.
Yeah. So the thing is that I actually cut out time for you guys. So because I like you guys.
Well, let me say, sir, BGS, you to me, again, like you're one of the few people I can actually say I look up to and not.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Because it's just
he's a lie. He looks up to everybody at 5'2" and 1/4. Who don't you not look up
5'5". First of all, you're not going to remove those 3 inches.
He want his goddamn 3 inches, Bad Gemini. Give him his inches.
I give him 5'3". I give him a solid number. Dog.
You know the best. You know what the best pickup artist is actually short. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
The best.
We have to have. We have to. I have actually had. Yeah, I've been with women who were much taller than me.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's not an issue. But I want to say to you, man, like, it's just, thank you for the ministry that you have, for the words that you speak. I know that you weren't always appreciated for it, but people like me need to hear people like you to know that we're not alone in this world. Because again, you see my co-host, not a lot of intellectual conversation happening.
Disrespectful. Let me give him forget him. Let me get BGS.
I understand Pastor B because I have been a fuckboy in my life, and I understand Bad Gemini because I am a Gemini. I know what he's going through. I know your struggle, boss.
BGS, I can't stand you. I'm just gonna say what is. He know what kind of talk this is. I can't stand you. I'm bored by you. Like, let me tell you something. People like you bother me. When I wake up and knowing that people like BGS exist, I'm bothered. You know why? Because you got some smart guy. First off, he reads because it's pleasurable. I'm not reading because it better be work related. I'm not reading just to read.
The only thing he's reading is his warrant. That's all. So
and I read it well too. I'm like, officer, you don't have the right to do any of this here. Let me go get my lawyer. But anyway, look, I like the clown. BGS, look, I like the insight that you provide, and you take pressure off of me and Pastor Life. We true Florida boys. I know Amari was raised in Florida, but you heard his life story. He's like a byproduct. Like he's like an afterthought. You know what I'm saying? Literally. But he made it here. Like literally he was, but hey, he was born. So
you know what the thing is, there's a lot of us out there like that, man. So I know it's pain. A lot of them out there. Worse stories than him. That I know.
Yeah,
worse
right.
stories than him.
Dumped in trash cans, like.
But if you make it, man, you make it. So any black man that actually makes you do this goddamn gauntlet, gotta give him a drink, give him a toast, just for making it.
But I think also like we don't celebrate that enough. Like people, and something I like. Even I joke with these guys, whatever, right? But a lot of us in this group that we have made it out of that, right? We have friends who saw people being shot right in front of them. Right, we all know that we Pastor had to leave a house because he knew he might commit a felony, and the safest thing he could do was leave town. BG did commit the felony, and he's trying to get it undone. So
I'm working on that. Give me 6 months, boy. Hey, I'm back. I'm high value in 6 months. Please believe. But go ahead.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying like,
Look,
yeah, I'm just glad we got. I am grateful that you are on this show because the words that you speak are life to people like myself, people like Pastor, people like BG, because you've gone through enough of this shit to be able to talk back to us and be like, hey, I've been where you all are. Here's the road to wherever. So thank you for that.
Yep.
Let me tell you one last thing, though. I'm not going to ask a question. I'm going to make a statement. Look, I know Pastor dropping his head, and I'm glad you did that because that forehead been glaring. I've been blind. I should have had my shades on for the show. I knew I should have had my shades on for the show. I had to look down at my feet because every time you look into the screen,
right there?
your forehead blinded me. Like right now, it look like he got a built-in light bulb. It looked like he got a built-in light bulb on.
We got to put a filter over it.
I did.
Yeah, he got over
and he's still talking. I literally put a filter over today because I got tired of him talking about it.
But hey, the only thing ain't nothing filtered in that skull of yours. You were born with it. You were born with it. You can't filter that.
Can I turn it down?
It's in your DNA. It's in your DNA.
Look, you see, it's still shining. I turned the light down.
It's a little bit better though. You took half the glare, but when you lean to the right and left,
you got to get a second light. Got to get a second light.
Yeah, we need to solar eclipse your forehead. That's all it's going to have to be. We need to solar eclipse it. Just cut to the chase. Yeah, let's just go block the whole thing out. Let's get that whole thing blocked out. But no, BJS, I'm gonna say this real quick. It's more of a statement rather than a question.
Okay.
Honestly, you're a scholar. I think what people forget in the history of Moors, black men, when it's like, oh yeah, look at the Europeans. Oh, we made it to America. Like, no, more instances than not, there was a Moor, somebody black descent on that boat navigating because they already did that trip. The whole, we got Indians and all that. Black people been here from the Mayans, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
All that and just going real fast. So my thing is, you're addressing the whole scholarly aspect that we have as a culture that people dismiss and what we do. Because what mainstream media would say, you're a nerd. When you say a nerd, it's all dissuaded. People hate it and they just push it to the side. But that's what we essentially are when it comes to constellations, everything from the pyramids, all of that. There's black influence. So I like you addressing that scholarly aspect of the YouTube sphere because people dismiss that and they want the ratchet energy, just like the video we saw, whether it's from a female or from a guy from our culture specifically. Right. Give us the music, give us the sports, dumb it down. We don't want y'all influencing and encouraging anybody else. So I thank you for holding true to your space. Because look, there's a lot of people on social media, all the ratchetness. You maintain and been steady with the whole scholarly approach. And that's the culture of our history. Like that's the history of our culture. And I think people miss that. They see all this other stuff. Do we have music, fashion? That's an element, that's a layer. But overall, we were scholars from the start. And so I appreciate it.
The Gnostics hand out keys, to go through doors, right? I just hand out keys. Pick up the key, unlock the door, and go through it and see what's on the other side. So that's what I do on my channel. Like the problem that you guys had with your family as you started a whole discussion, those are just keys, right? Open up the door, have a discussion, solve a problem, right? It's just keys. Just knowledge is just keys. That's what I do. Just hand out keys. If you want them, you want it. If you don't, you don't. If you want to go through that door, go through the door. If not, it's fun. It's fun to know.
You all don't know what's going to happen. We want to see a video posted tomorrow, figuring ish out riding BGS dick.
And wait, hold up. I don't know what that I think the title should be. Yes. We need to take a vote on that. We need to amend the title.
Okay.
Yeah, let's beat him to the punch, Sean, is what he's saying. But look,
we ain't beating nothing to nowhere. That's what I'm trying to say.
I'm glad that you guys get something out of it. It makes me feel good that I'm actually contributing to something, right? It's not just I'm doing it in the dark.
They said that about Kevin Samuel. D-Riders, as soon as he passed, everybody that he may have had personal relationship, once again, people don't know the back channels of how YouTube works and this network. And it's like, oh, look at these D-Riders. Like some of y'all don't understand.
Kevin Samuels actually came, that version of Kevin Samuels actually came from my Coliseum, believe it or not. Go back in 2017. Actually, hey, I got a group of guys need to be give a more bougie touch. They make $150,000 a year. They've got these degrees, but they need to be cleaned up. Can you do that, Kevin? He did it, and then he actually carried it further. So that's where he actually came from. So I was glad to actually see him break through. And I'm just sad he didn't get a chance to spend his money. You know,
Yeah,
you made
that's
all this money,
unfortunate
didn't get to spend it. That's unfortunate. I said, man, I wish you could have been on the beach somewhere with old man money, with your Marias or whatever you want around you, having a umbrella in your drink, and actually enjoying your money. I was kind of sad about that because you should have got that chance. You made all this money, all this fame, and just it is what it is.
I don't
All right,
hear
everyone.
white people saying D-riders. I'm just sorry I had to get that last part. It just pissed me off because I know they're gonna say it, but I just think about it.
You need to shut the fuck up.
I'm not. That's what I'm trying to tell these white people and these other people who don't understand black folks. They need to shut up when they talk about D-riders. What white man you hear say another white man? Joe Rogan. Do you you think you're gonna hear somebody say he a D-rider? Like, let me be quiet, man.
All right. BG, before we go, I got one last sound for VVS when she come on that I know you're going to enjoy.
Okay. Maybe next time I'll come on Tuesday.
babies off the street.
Oh, you ain't shit. You ain't shit. You ain't shit. Okay. All right, Pastor.
All right, everyone.
Negro, you have gone too far, Negro. You have gone too far.
Hey, that's Ice Cube. You should love it. Get
I
them
heard
goddamn babies out
Babies
the
out
street.
the street.
Y'all are crazy. I gotta go to bed. I can't
All right,
fool
everyone.
y'all.
Good
I'ma have
night. You all
nightmares.
love you. Have a great night. We still at 46 likes. Get it to 50, please. Thank you all. Great night. Goodbye, everyone.